but we think that this Red Bull has made an adjustment to the setup to sacrifice some single lap speed for race pace. We know he knows how to get it done here, a 5-time winner. We talked about Russell wants to mix it up with the Ferraris because of that constructors battle, and on the Ferraris, you got Lewis Hamilton. Best Grand Prix qualifying since joining this squad. This team is absolutely jacked about what he could potentially do. And your front row, Charles Leclerc. It's been a year since Ferrari's won. It's been over a year since he won. He would love to return them to the top. And Lando Norris, you're an absolute dominant car this weekend. He's got 830 meters to run it down to turn 1. It is such a tricky thing to do here in Mexico, but he has a huge opportunity to close that 14-point deficit to his teammate Piastri, who is down in P7, and close that 14-point gap in the championship and potentially retake the championship lead for the first time since Jeddah in round 5. But until we get into the 71 laps to sort out that Mexican City Grand Prix, let's head to the front of the grid for the anthem.
Bagus jaringannya tadi. Lagu kebangsaan, jadi kita harus tenang ya. Wajah streamnya mulai goyah. Ini kita bikin dulu 87. FPS tadi tak kenapa nanti streamnya tadi baru nonton El Clasico lumayan. Real Madrid menang. Untung menang ke Real Madrid. Menang Real Madrid tuh ide coba berisik banget.
Brilliant anthem then in Mexico City. And we have Laurent Mekies just behind us speaking to Paul Monahan. We'll get an interview with him in just a moment, I think. I know he might be coming in now, James, before I can ask you a question. Laurent, welcome along, welcome in. You've got a microphone just here. Max Verstappen in P5. You know, he's never won in his whole career from P5. Crazy stat. But we feel that if anyone can get a run down to turn 1, it's this man in the form he's in and the card that you guys have given him. What is the anticipation for today then? What's the approach?
You know, we have been struggling a bit with pace this weekend. I don't think we quite find the very sweet spot we have managed to find in the last few races. So it's probably fair to say that Lando is on a category on his own. But, you know, let's see if we can follow this guy. Let's see if we can follow George and Lewis and see if there is an opportunity in the race to extract a bit more from the car.
Laurent, looked like on Friday, the single lap pace fairly strong, the long run pace a bit off. Saturday, it almost looked reversed. Did you guys make some conscious decisions on setup to make the car better over the long run for this Grand Prix and sacrifice a bit over a lap?
I think we are certainly not happy. We were not happy on Friday with the long run pace. Obviously, the short run looked very good. We've made some changes. Whether or not it has improved the long run pace, we're only going to find out now.
Laurent, the battle for P2 in the Constructors, you've very much put yourselves back in the frame for that one. What's the maximum return, do you think, from P5 and P10 on the grid against the likes of the Ferrari and Mercedes around you?
You know, it's, you know, the Ferrari is very fast here, Mercedes as well. You know, I think, you know, with Max, we can probably shoot up to fighting for the podium. That will be, you know, what a good race will be for us today, starting P5. with the pace we have. If we are able to follow these guys, if we are able to fight for the podium, that will be good. And then Yuki is also in a good position to score points.
Sampai jam berapa mungkin sampai
let's see.
subuh ya.
And Laurent, I'm going to ask you a slightly cheeky question. We have seen that McLaren have once again put the tape on the side of the wall for Lando Norris's grid box. I presume you've told your crew the silly business, the games are over.
Jam 9 aku udah tidur
I think
tadi
it's
ya.
okay. The silly games had been fun for a few races. I don't think they will go much further.
Thank you very much, Laurent. Appreciate it. All right, let's hear then. Chris Medland's caught up with the driver. I couldn't hear who. Who is it?
Max going from 5th place today. It's not been an easy weekend so far, has it? But are you confident that maybe the race pace might be improved from what we saw on Friday?
There are no real indications that are leading to that, but we'll see. I mean, we just try to maximize what we can.
And you've had some brilliant starts at this track in the past. I'm sure you've been looking back over them. How do you go about this start here today?
Honestly, I mean, yeah, of course, if there is an opportunity, you want to go for it, but at the same time, you also don't want to risk damage or whatever. It's a long race, so yeah, if there is an opportunity, we go for it. If not, we just need to stay out of trouble.
I was going to say, you've been aggressive recently. Do you call this a race, a damage limitation race?
So far, this weekend, it has been a bit like that, yeah.
Good luck.
Oh, well, there you go. Couldn't even hear the noises ramping up so loudly here on this grid, but it was Max Verstappen. Damage limitation for him today.
I don't think you can have that mindset with where he's at in the championship. I mean, it's about maximizing what you have, right? You can look at it as damage limitation, but when you say that, to me, that says you're going to hold something back. You're going to be maybe a little bit conservative when you have an option to go really bold, potentially on strategy, potentially in turn one. But we know Max. He doesn't hold back. He's going to go bold in turn one. Red Bull has a tendency to want to go bold on strategy, and that's what they're going to have to do today to keep chipping away at that championship lead.
But what about his teammate, Yuki Tsunoda?
Yuki going from 10th today on the grid, starting in the top 10, but I imagine you want to go further forward than that. How do you go about doing it?
Panasnya sebelum juara konstruktor
I try to go as much as possible higher.
kunci
I think start is quite key, especially
Jadi rada lucu
today it's really warm, so it won't be easy for managing the tire, especially when you're in the dirty air. So yeah, let's see how it goes in the first lap. But I think tire management is going to be key.
And with Max just in P5, Oscar in P7, do you feel like you can get yourself in the mix there to maybe help in the driver's fight?
Yeah, I try as much as possible. You know, he's quite far up. Yeah, I think if anything, the strategy, it's something I can help. I think we'll likely, happy to do it. Yep.
Thank you.
Well, there you go. Yuki Tsunoda race playing a teammate game to Max Verstappen, but the McLaren's ahead. Well, one ahead, one behind. We'll be looking out for that, right, James? How can they counter it?
Well, yeah, you're going to have to be racing multiple cars. You're going to have to be paying attention to multiple strategies. This is when it gets really interesting, Laura, when you have all these different cars and teams mixed into the race result. The strategists, they have a tough job today keeping an eye on multiple different strategies playing out.
Our DJ Anna de Ferran over there is absolutely sending it on this grid. The atmosphere is incredible. I'm sure it is getting Oscar Piastri more than ready for this one. He struggled this weekend, though. How's he feeling now?
Oscar going from P7 today, not been an easy weekend, but how can you turn it around this afternoon?
Tapi kalau nanti kita stream bareng,
I think trying to find some pace, try and learn a few things
kena spoiler 10
today,
detik
see
lah.
what we can do, and if we can
Seru
unlock
lagi.
it, then I think we're in for a fun afternoon.
Are you going to be aggressive at the start to try and get some clear air, or you still got the title lead
Punya
here?
Mas
You've got to
Pagi,
balance
Wak.
both, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just take the opportunity as they come. I'm not going to try and force
Kayak
anything.
Mak tidur
Just,
lagi nih.
if there's a gap, I'll try and take it and see where we end up.
All right, good luck.
Oh gosh, is he going to be aggressive off the start? I think he will be when he has to be.
Mas Pagi sekarang,
There is a
tapi ya udahlah.
championship title
Susah tidur
at
lagi, tapi
stake
aku udah
here,
tidur
and
jam
this is the
9
one of
anjir.
5 rounds. Ruth, final thoughts heading into this one and your prediction, please.
I can't wait to see what colour tyres are coming on. 830 metres, the longest drag race we have in Formula One. Ferraris with nothing to lose. 3 championship leaders with everything to lose. I can't wait to see it. Do you know, I don't think you can call this one. I think you have to call it the end of lap 1.
As a cop-out. We'll come back to you in a minute. What's your prediction?
Like I think you can call it at the end of turn 2, but if this guy, Lando Norris, gets through turn 2, I think it's his race to lose. Even if he loses the lead, there's a lot of pace in that McLaren. I think Max is going to mix it up in a podium position, but I would also love to see Hamilton. So let's go, Norris, Hamilton, Verstappen.
Norris, Hamilton, Verstappen. What happens to Leclerc then?
Hadapi jam
And where's Piastri?
Not everybody can win, Laura. This is motorsports. There's got to be a winner.
Ruth, can we get one from you?
Yeah, I'll do the same. I want to see Lewis on the podium.
A Lewis podium
Klasiko
today
tadi
would
aku
be
buta.
absolutely incredible. Don't forget that
Lumayan
P3
menang Real
stat.
Madrid tuh,
It's won the last 3 of 5 races
kalah
here.
Real Madrid,
But the
anjir,
championship
bising
battle
kali nih,
between
Cul,
Lando Norris, Max Verstappen and Oscar Piastri could well be about to take another fascinating turn in what has been a stunning 2025 season so far. 40 points in it. Could we see a switch in who leads this World Championship today? It's time to find out here at the
Belum,
Mexico
jam
City
3 race ya,
Grand Prix.
ada 6 menit lagi. Masih ini lagi, masih di starting line
The
semua.
Autodromo
Mobil udah keluar semua.
Manos Rodriguez. A circuit built in the heavens. A high-speed, high-altitude racetrack that will physically take your breath away. From its debut in 1962 to today's sold-out stadiums, Mexico has seen Formula One's greatest stories unfold.
Suara aman nggak? Kalau di tempatku bagus emang di
It's
HP
where
ku.
John Surtees won his title in
Dikecilin.
chaos, where Jochen Rindt was crowned the sport's only posthumous champion, and where Lewis Hamilton sealed not one, but 2 titles.
Max berat lah menang kayak gini keadaannya. Jadi P5 kayak depan Russell, ada Hamilton, ada Leclerc, ada Norris.
We're gonna
Norris
see
pun
what's
jago.
gonna happen with the championship here in
Oh,
Mexico
kau tengok
City.
nanti kok King Leclerc kan bisa dimenang dia kalau dilewatinya aja. Dia bisa curi T1 makan Leclerc. Agak susah overtake sini, kecuali mobil gue emang kencang kali, tapi McLaren lumayan kencang juga. Semalam gue tengok, gila kali catatan Paul Norris, Pak.
Will roar in a cauldron of noise.
Mudah-mudahan lah Norris ngecok anjir. Biasanya Norris pun gak tau lah ya, dia pun lagi confident juga sekarang. Dia lagi percaya diri sekarang Norris ini kan. Berhasil dia ngerebut apa namanya Piastri dari posisi 7. Tapi entah lah ya, tahu Norris ini gimana kan. Kalau di bawah tekanan gampang kali ngebotol dia.
"189 days ago, Lando Norris lost the lead of the World Championship. Today, he leads the field from pole, knowing if they finish where they line up, he will reclaim P1 in the standings. But this is Formula One in 2025. Nothing is straightforward. Nothing can be taken for granted. Round 20 of the season. Good afternoon and welcome to the Mexico City Grand Prix. It's high speed, it's high altitude, around the 2.6 miles, 2,227 meters above sea level. It means Monza levels of speed, Monaco levels of downforce, and an epic run to the first turn. Tyres will be on between the C5, the C4, or the C2.
Anomalinya tuh
The soft,
timnya
the medium,
kacau
and the
ya kan.
hard. The answer comes
Timnya
your way
bagus,
in
mobilnya
a
kembali
few moments. And it
Itu
is
nggak takutkan
defining
dari
moments in the championship that
Leclerc
await
nih,
us
apa
here.
Ferrari nih.
Is the
Aduh.
fight to be champion driver of the world in 2025. And yeah, we've got the music back. Let's go from the back to the front for the 20th time this year. Here's the grid. Franco Colapinto in 20th. He's got Lance Stroll alongside. Stroll hasn't scored points here since 2017. Pierre Gasly is in 18th. He's next to Alexander Albon, who had way more pace in the Williams. Just got caught out at the end with the changing temperatures. Gabriel Bortoleto finds himself behind his teammate for the 3rd race in a row. Liam Lawson believed the top 10 was possible, couldn't put the laps together. Fernando Alonso believed that P14 was all that was available. Hulkenberg, another driver disappointed to miss out on the top 10. Carlos Sainz, 5-place grid penalty. after
delay
contact of the last race,
87 detik
Esteban
udah
Ocon
pas.
much happier with Haas's one-lap pace. Yuki Tsunoda's in P10. Oliver Behrman really pleased. Three
inilah Ferrari ya.
Q3s in a row now for him.
Jujur
12
kesel
this
aku
season
waktu
for Isaac
2022
Hadjar,
kemarin
Q3s that is.
itu.
Then
Mobil
the championship
kompetitif
leader
kali,
with
Wak.
all to do
Congkar
in
mobil apa
7th
waktu itu.
position. Kimi
Apalagi pas
Antonelli is in
kualifikasi,
P6.
oh
Max Verstappen
gila
has never
lu
won
bisa
a
gapnya
Grand Prix from fifth on the
300
grid.
sekian gitu
George
kan.
Russell goes from
Tapi pas
fourth.
race
Lewis Hamilton chases
jelek
a first
kali
Ferrari
XM-nya,
podium and even
eksekusinya.
more from P3.
Entah-
And it's Charles
entah mobilnya
Leclerc
yang
back on the
meletup
front
atau
row
pit
next
stop
to
yang
Lando
kacau.
Norris,
Gila
who took
lah.
his 14th career
Kalau udah
position.
ini udah apa namanya
And
udah
one
siap
of the
perburuan
very,
gelar,
very
bagus
most
dia.
important in his Formula One career so far. Welcome to the stadium. And it is going to be another glorious atmosphere on a fantastic day for motor racing. The track temperature is 52 degrees, the air temperature is 26, and we are set for a crucial race in the World Championship. I'm Alex Shakes. Alongside me, looking forward to this one, is Jolyon Palmer.
It's roasting.
Ini Verstappen pakai medium ya,
Track temperature,
Verstappen
that's as
medium,
high as it's been, as higher
Hadjar
than it's
pakai
been all
medium,
weekend.
Tsunoda pakai medium,
So we're
Sainz
expecting this to
pakai
be
medium.
a one-stop race.
Gila, Albon dikasih hard anjir.
The soft tires and the medium
Tapi
tires
entah lah ya,
need management.
bagus
I
atau
am
nggak hard di
fascinated
sini.
to see
Nah,
already.
kita nengok nih ya.
Max
apa
Verstappen
namanya,
starts on the medium, and you can see all of the drivers around him have gone for the
data body
soft.
kita
So
belum nengok.
it's a
Bagus
really
atau
long run to the
medium
first
sih.
corner,
Itu bener bagus
830
sih.
meters. We've seen plenty of skirmishes down there over the years. There is
Kalau
also
Pinto
a
pakai-
slightly
ya,
cleaner
mungkin
side of the grid
molongkan
on the
ya.
racing line. Anyone that has an odd number will have that slight advantage. But Verstappen and Red Bull, for once, going cautious on strategy.
Going the other
Salah
way,
pun,
Red Bull and
walaupun
Max
pengen,
Verstappen so far this
walaupun aku
weekend
fans
not
Verstappen,
having the
kalau bisa
ultimate pace, so trying to do
Ferrari
something
menang
different
lah
with the
satu
help
race
of
di
the
musim
pit
ini.
wall.
Kasian juga kalau nggak menang satu
Slightly
race.
slower launch off the line for Verstappen, who starts back in 5th place. It's Russell, Hamilton, Leclerc and Norris ahead of him on the soft tyre.
In terms of strategy, it's very similar to what we had last week in Austin, where Leclerc was the only one that went for the soft. This time it's a pile-on. Everyone decided that strategy is good, and they are going for it. Or the bunch of the field are. Verstappen stays on the medium, and he will be quicker later on in the race, we think. Big lap from Norris yesterday, but the work
Agak
is
panas
not
ya,
done.
52 derajat. Waktu
He said on
kualifikasi
the radio
semalam agak
afterwards
rendah
he didn't know how he put it all
temperatur
together.
di
The long run
43 semalam.
to turn one was in his mind, but he said on the pole lap he felt very natural with the car.
Sebenarnya yang
Put in
aneh
one of his
sebenarnya
best
di
laps
mobil
since
Piastri
Monaco.
sebenarnya. Tiba-tiba kenapa
On that
mobil
day,
Piastri
he converted pole position
dia
to
tahun
the
waktu itu
win.
jelek kali
Does
itu,
so
tiba-tiba
with a
aneh aja
great
gitu.
chance of
Untung
reclaiming the championship
Sainz
lead.
dapat penalti 5 detik, kok nggak dilapis dia start.
Both Verstappen and Yuki Tsunoda's Red Bull in 10th position. It's a used soft for Oscar Piastri. The benefit of being rapid all the way through the qualifying hour yesterday for Lando Norris is that he carried through a new set of soft tyres as well. So did Charles Leclerc in the leading Ferrari, second on the grid. Both drivers on the front row start on a brand new soft tyre, which will give them, in theory, a little bit more of an advantage in the opening meters off the line to try and get the power down. Then it's a slipstream race.
119 points from Max Verstappen. For the last 5 races, 119 points from the McLaren pair. The Verstappen resurgence has been something special. He has been so impressive. The 5-time winner has taken 119 points out of the possible 133 in the last 5 race weekends. But this weekend looks different.
Iya,
as
kayaknya
we go
Papa Harrell
into
pun
the
curiga
crucial
nih
race.
kan, karena Norris orang British ya kan, Norris lebih senior, jadi McLaren ini berusaha agar Norris duluan yang apa namanya yang juara dunia di McLaren, kan ada tuh Piastri katanya.
40 points back. Lando Norris 14 points back. He hasn't led since the 20th of April earlier this year.
What is going on inside Lando Norris's head right now, leading the field through the stadium section, absolutely packed out, one of the most atmospheric Grand Prix of the season, and one that could be massive in the championship fight.
Kalau mau jujur ya, tapi
but it won't. There's a
kenapa ya
long way
kan,
to go.
Piastri ini
71
kalau
laps to the Mexican Grand Prix coming up.
di Meksiko itu emang rada ngempas dari 2 tahun yang lalu, dari 2 tahun race sebelumnya. Piastri emang track record di Meksiko tuh jelek emang. Entahlah ya, aku pun curiga juga sama McLaren nih. Karena gimana ya, kalau misalnya pun Piastri 1-2 itu saya lebih bahaya daripada posisi sekarang. Kalau 1-2 dia kan lebih ketat race kan.
Lewis Hamilton lining up in P3 underlined that after qualifying. He said
kalau
Lando
mereka
Norris has got
1-2
all to lose.
kemungkinan tabrakan tuh ada. Kemungkinan Hamilton Rosberg 2016 tuh bakal besar banget ya kan.
And for the man that we're highlighting lining up in 5th position, Max Verstappen.
how many times have we seen 3 wide into the first corner? Very often with this long straight. Plenty of incident as well. It's very difficult to get the tyres up to find the braking point and keep it all clean on a pretty narrow run to the first corner as well. Long and narrow.
Ferrari are trying to win their first Grand Prix of the season today. Lando Norris is trying to take back the championship lead. Verstappen trying to keep this incredible run going, putting the pressure on the McLarens. And the championship leader, Oscar Piastri, is in P7. We're lining the last car into position. It's Franco Colapinto, and then we await the green flag at the back. The fight for the Formula One World Championship continues in 5 lights' time. We leave the line and we're underway for the Mexico City Grand Prix. Say goodbye to Lando Norris in the opening 200 metres, but it's 800 metres down to turn 1, and the Ferraris are very close. Lewis Hamilton pitched to the inside. Hamilton tried to attack. What's Max Verstappen? Who's on the outside? Who's locking up? Who's going deep and off the road? On the racetrack, Lando Norris keeps the lead. It was a wild start to this one as they reclaim the lead. Over the road went Max Verstappen. Over the road went Charles Leclerc. How are they going to sort that one out? It's Charles Leclerc who leads, but he cut the corner. He'll feather out the throttle, and Lando Norris retakes P1.
Chaos at the start. There were 4 wide into the first corner. Verstappen with the optimistic of all optimistic moves from the outside there, but knew he could cut the corner.
Dapat Ferrari T1 nih, cowok. Berat emang.
Hamilton just about keeps his front wing in check.
That was as dramatic as we've seen. Round at the back goes the Aston Martin, and dropping to the back of the field is Lance Stroll. It's Norris, Leclerc, Hamilton and Verstappen.
Piastri's lost 4 positions. There he goes. He's behind Tsunoda. The championship leader is down to 11th position.
We were looking at the 4-wide battle at the front. We've seen 3 wide before, but never 4. It's Lando Norris who leads. Then it's Charles Leclerc. He also went off the road. Lewis Hamilton is third. Upper place is Max Verstappen. Down the position is George Russell. Ollie Behrman made it up to P6. That's up 3. And the championship leader's horrible weekend has had another setback. P9 as we go on to lap number 2.
He needed to be on the charge early on. Instead, it's a disastrous start for Piastri. And now he's got his work cut out to come through. He's actually back into 9th position. That was with a few of the cars cutting early on, and now he's managed to gain a couple of those places back. Still down 2 from where he started, and Tsunoda up 2 ahead of him.
Verstappen just cut the corner, brake late, and went across the grass. So at least a penalty will give the position back.
Right, I think Max was ahead of George, though. I think they've ended up roughly in the order that they were going into that first corner. Russell claiming to the stewards, we went through a replay of it, but it did seem like Max was part of the 4-wide gaggle on the outside of it and has slipped back into 4th, where he would naturally be.
Everyone getting into a rhythm. A reminder for you, the top 3 have soft tyres on the car. The more durable mediums are bolted on to the reigning world champions Red Bull. Really intrigued to have another look at the turn 1 incident that has been noted by race control.
Ollie Behrman also with a flying start up to 6th position, so he's made the absolute most of the chaos at the start. Long run, good slipstreaming opportunities. Really well managed, you have to say, by Norris. Got to the inside, got the initial traction, had that new soft tyre, and then it is difficult to pick your braking point from the dirty part as well. You could see the dust flicking up off his tyres as he was heading down on the white line to the first corner, but he made it through cleanly.
Fast lap the race goes to Charles Leclerc. He's milliseconds quicker than Lando Norris in the lead. 1.4 seconds the gap between the 2 of them. Further back as well, Isaac Hadjar lost 3 places. Esteban Ocon was able to climb into the points. That's the state of the top 10 at the moment. Piastri knows how to put together a recovery drive around here. He did so last year when he came through from the back. Liam Lawson finds himself getting a new nose after contact on the opening turn.
Tsunoda also on the mediums. In these very early laps, that will be a disadvantage. Soon it will become more of an advantage as the soft tyre goes away. Expecting to see some graining on the tyres, the rubber moves around. It was a real problem for them on the long runs on Friday. As it stands, Norris looking comfortable. Verstappen and Tsunoda, 2 Red Bulls playing the long game. Verstappen at least has cleared Russell.
There's a yellow flag at the first couple of turns on the racetrack. I wonder if we've got debris down there after the melee that was the opening couple of corners of this Grand Prix. Russell is not happy with Max Verstappen, and He's talking about the tactics used at the start of the Grand Prix. We've got to see a replay to work out what went down there. It was a dramatic start. We built it up for you. It delivered. But crucially for Lando Norris, who has been under scrutiny in the past 3 starts, he got the track position. Every team principal in the paddock at the start of the race was talking about how useful running in clear air would be. And Norris can measure his race as Piastri tries to recover one of the positions that he lost a couple of them off the line.
He's going to have to get a bit braver than that at some point. Bounces over the curb through the apex of 2. He's been struggling for traction so far this weekend, and he's struggling with the fact that Tsunoda also has DRS at this moment in time. Tsunoda not being dropped by Antonelli ahead. Behrman's still there, but within DRS of Russell, who is not happy, is he? We've only got a pair of eyes each, and there were cars everywhere on the run down to the first corner. So trying to spot 4 wide at 200 miles per hour and then see where George Russell was somewhere in the mix as well. I can understand for Russell if he thinks that Verstappen has only got 4 wide by missing his break point and doing a overly ambitious, never going to work move around the outside. We'll wait and see for the replay. It did feel like Verstappen was there before the braking.
We'll get the start replays to you in a moment. For Oscar Piastri, just about looking after his own race now. He's not been able to do what Lando Norris can around this low grip surface in Mexico City. He's not been able to do that. Norris checking the left-hand mirror to see where Charles Leclerc is. He's 1.8 seconds behind. We're on lap 5. Lando Norris has the fastest lap of the race. 71 on the board for the 20th Grand Prix of the year.
Tsunoda feeling heat from Piastri. Is in the slipstream. Tsunoda still has the DRS to defend. The slipstream is not that effective around this circuit. The air is thin, the drag is low, and for that reason the slipstream is also low.
Okay, here we go, back to the start of the Grand Prix. Lando Norris getting a great reaction time, the slipstreaming beginning behind.
Russell's launch was tremendous, and now he's going backwards. So Verstappen's already through. Verstappen's ahead of Russell, isn't he? He's ahead of Russell. That's not going to be a reversal of the positions. So Piastri goes in wide. That's where he loses the place to Behrman, and then I think he loses the places momentarily because other drivers cut across. And
T1 Meksiko ini rada lucu emang. Sebuah mobil doyan makan
Lewis
rumput.
Hamilton started from 3rd, immediately into the teammate slipstream. Now, I thought this got very, very tight on the inside. Let's see what it... No, Charles Leclerc, very, very clever with how he positioned the car. There was enough room just into the first turn.
To say, Leclerc is quite kind to Lewis to allow him the space to fit in between Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri at this moment here. He could have boxed Hamilton in. Instead, he opens the door for Hamilton, shuts the door to Verstappen, who at this point, it's so...
crazy. Look at that. Barely keeps it out of the wall. He was braking on the curb. Car fat with fuel at the start of the Grand Prix.
He's coming past Hamilton on the inside at the moment.
Oh, that's side by side, the 2 old rivals. Verstappen trying to get by, and no room. Hamilton will try and claim the place back. George Russell trying to go past Lewis Hamilton. And this is a battle for 3rd position. Max Verstappen has P3 for the moment. Hamilton locking up and going off and having to take the escape road. And the dreams of that podium are disappearing at the moment. He'll just carry on. And Behrman's getting to the inside. Incredible run here. What a melee. What a story. Hamilton's in 3rd. Oliver Behrman back to Verstappen. Is the room. And there is this year. Off the road goes Behrman. What is going on in Mexico City? Max Verstappen driving it like a shopping trolley at the moment. He thought he had P3 into turn 1. Has he got a problem?
There was contact, I think, between Verstappen and Hamilton, and I wonder if there is damage on the Red Bull. Behrman snuck through. Russell was forced off at turn 5. Hamilton's now up the road by a mile. This is like a go-kart race in Formula 1.
This is absolutely incredible. Oliver Behrman is now up 5 places. Some of the biggest names in Formula 1 history scrapping away, and a full season rookie up to 4th position. Verstappen 0.8 of a second back on the medium tyre. He's nowhere near him at the moment. Antonelli got past Russell, and as you can see, as it stands, we have a new championship leader. But as the last couple of corners showed us, there is a long way to go. Hamilton was passed, I think he'll believe, off the road. He then went on over the road at turn 4. There is so much to sort out. Here's how it began, down to turn 1.
It's a good attempt from Verstappen at turn 1. Hamilton turns in and initiates a bit of contact. They run through turn 2. Hamilton rejoining from on the road there. Then Verstappen scampering off the road. this was a decent attempt. It's not that late on the
Kencang
brakes, but he
Berman,
rolls the speed
Biar
into the apex.
mengejutkan.
He's alongside at the apex. He is carrying a lot of speed in there, Max. Forces Lewis wide. There's a bit of contact as Hamilton's still trying to turn into the corner. So Hamilton's ending up off at turn 1.
Gila, Berman mengejutkan,
Verstappen is off, cutting through turn 3.
Mengejutkan dia kelima.
Now this is down to turn number 4. Verstappen on the inside. Hamilton locks up. And then over the road he goes. Meanwhile, Verstappen and Russell, they're scrapping. And Behrman says, yeah, I'll take that open door and improve up to the top 4 in the Grand Prix.
Hamilton blatantly cut the corner there. And kept the pace, but Verstappen also went off the road in defence. So that'll be Hamilton's argument. It's a bit like the Norris-Verstappen incident from Austin last year. And that'll be a big load of incidents for Stewards to look at. Russell was then forced off by Verstappen. Verstappen now has a chance behind Behrman, but he's not able to make it through on the brakes this time around. Behrman, simply opportunistic, down the inside at 6, dangling a nose there. Knows that Verstappen can't afford to tangle with a Haas in this race, so he's cautious. Piastri now has a chance to pass Tsunoda. This is a good chance.
Look further back, orange McLaren up against the navy Red Bull. Not much between them. And that's cautious from Piastri. He knows he can't afford to lose a wing or a wheel here, and he's still behind the second Red Bull in the race.
It's stuck between a rock and a hard place. Late on the brakes, but Tsunoda just rolled the speed off, rolled the brakes, carried the speed into the apex, and it was a Verstappen-esque defence in the end from Yuki Tsunoda. Sergio Perez-esque defence against the championship leader.
Amazing couple of corners. All began with Hamilton versus Verstappen at turn number 1. Hamilton has been noted for failing to rejoin via the escape road and cutting the corner. And so they will look at that one. If they believe he gained an advantage, it could be an incoming penalty. He is now under investigation for exactly that. That was wild. We saw it last year. It was wild last year between Norris and Verstappen, but multiple cars this year. We have a retirement. Liam Lawson is out of the race. We saw him pitting after lap 1. He's gone no further.
I think the fact that Hamilton's 2 seconds clear of this pack now makes it look pretty blatant from him. No attempt to back off.
What are they doing about people to plunge turn 1? Nothing yet. Let's focus on our race.
The next thing is, I think Leclerc should have gone back behind Hamilton at turn 1. I don't think Leclerc, when he cut the position from the outside of Hamilton, should come back in front of Lewis Hamilton. And I think that is what Lewis is talking about. 2 main rivals that he was looking at cutting the corner were Leclerc and Verstappen. Verstappen's behind him. He did then just put on the big attack, but Leclerc is still ahead of him. I think Verstappen slotted in rightfully to 4th. I think Leclerc should have gone to 3rd position, quite possibly, because it was the 3rd car on the outside as he cut the corner.
What a dramatic Mexico City Grand Prix we have had so far. Lando Norris got the launch off the line that he needed. We went 4 wide into turn number 1. Verstappen trying to improve up to 3rd position. Hamilton and Verstappen making contact. Verstappen then scrapping with George Russell and Oliver Behrman, running higher in a Grand Prix than he's ever run before. Would be crucial for Haas if he could score major points. Long way to go though, but a great weekend so far for the British driver.
Dropped Verstappen out of DRS range here. Verstappen now falling towards Kimi Antonelli.
Kimi Antonelli loves a late lunge, but he knows who he's up against. We've seen some brilliant moves from the Italian teenager, memorably in Singapore. Earlier this year, he's been superb late on the brakes, on those soft tyres, up against the medium-shod Max Verstappen. The incident involving Verstappen and Hamilton has been noted for causing a collision at the first turn.
Few corners there, I'd just wave play on if I was in the stewards' room. Verstappen in late, Hamilton sort of barged wide, but Max was there on the apex of the corner. Max then cut the corner at turn 3. There's a bit of give and take. They're still side by side into 4. And then you get the second incident up towards turn 4. That's where Hamilton went round the outside. But Verstappen also couldn't stop it on the road. It's a difficult one for the stewards. It would be a steward. It's a thankless task, isn't it?
It is today. My word. Might have to move some of the barriers about and build some gravel traps for next year. Cutting the corner has always been an element of this place, and it's always been controversial. Go back to the second modern running of the race here in Mexico City. It was Lewis Hamilton over the road, maintaining the lead when he was trying to beat Nico Rosberg to the title. Rosberg's championship year of 2016.
Piastri's got his best chance yet on the back of Tsunoda.
This has got to be it for Oscar Piastri, you feel. He will have the DRS. Tsunoda won't have that to George Russell. Piastri was expecting to have better race pace than one-lap pace, and that's a position recovered for the championship leader. As it stands, he still needs to get into the top 4 to maintain his advantage over his teammate.
Patient, 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 and then unbelievably easy at the end of that one. 11 laps, and Piastri takes the position. Nothing Tsunoda could do to defend there, the DRS. The exit, he's good in the final sector, Piastri. In fact, the final sector is where Norris made up the bulk of his difference for pole as well. The McLaren working really well in that low speed sequence of corners, and that is an extra couple of points for Oscar. But at this stage, in 8th place, won't be
Norris nggak
what
kejar
he
ya,
is
udah
after.
3 detik gapnya di depan.
Pretty much going to plan.
Di depan Leclerc.
We could start opening the gap to Charles Leclerc behind. The message
pun
from
lumayan
Joseph
Norris
Lando Norris, his driver in the lead by 3.1
Prestasinya
seconds.
bagus Norris.
He was the hot favourite to win this Grand Prix if he completed lap 1 in the lead, and he's
Dia
done
ada
so. Esteban Ocon is catching
bannya
Tsunoda
rusak.
very quickly. Tsunoda said the overall performance was okay, but he was sliding a lot around the racetrack. He missed out on Q3 yesterday.
This is extraordinary from Ollie Behrman.
Menurut dia Sumori aja di depan.
Another couple of tenths on Max Verstappen. It's half a tenth this time around, but the gap in the last 2 laps is just eking towards 1.4, 1.5 seconds now. Is Verstappen just biding his time before launching another attack? Here comes his teammate, Esteban Ocon with the DRS too. Too far back.
It is an updated car. The Haas brought a new floor to the last Grand Prix in Austin. That's a sprint weekend, though, so you don't always understand how your upgrades are working. They've made use of it. Both drivers very happy, especially with the qualifying performance improvement. Esteban Ocon was raving about that yesterday.
Tsunoda's not
medium,
got a
udah
pace in one
hancur.
Red Bull. Verstappen also doesn't have a
Yang
lot
diharapkan.
in the other. Did get close, put in that lunge on Hamilton.
Alah,
But he is good at putting the pressure on in those early laps, isn't he, Max? He often does it. Tries to get the track position when there's something in the tyres and then now find his rhythm. Is that it, or will he just be looking after them and attack again? You'd think with Ollie Behrman ahead, there's got to be more pace in the Red Bull. Third of the second drivers is again Ocon attacking Tsunoda. And Behrman's start has been awesome. 9th on the grid, up into 6th on the first lap, and then picking up the pieces when Verstappen, Hamilton and Russell all get towards each other, and through he goes with a tasty bit of driving against Max Verstappen.
Kimi Antonelli is 9/10 of a second away from Verstappen. Verstappen not in the DRS of Oliver Behrman. Soft tyre, the favoured tyre so far. You can see Antonelli running inside. I can tell you the chatter at the moment. Let's just wait for Esteban Ocon. Let's see if he fancies the move. The chatter on the radio at the moment from both Red Bull drivers is about a lack of grip. This medium tyre wasn't anyone's friend on the long run. Loads of turf on the inside of the racetrack on the exit of turn 3. Sums up what we saw in the opening laps.
Half the field went lawn mowing, didn't they, at the first corner? And you bounce on so quick. I should say, Verstappen's car control was phenomenal. The speed that he barreled off the road, it seemed like the wall was going to gobble him up on the outside.
Dangerous defense there. Happy.
Oh, Esteban, you want to see what we've had further up the order?
Yeah, the stewards have got plenty to look at. That is going to fall on deaf ears at this stage, I think, for Esteban Ocon. But the Verstappen, he's opposite, he's speedway at the first corner for Verstappen. He got so perilously close to the wall as well, because he's that fast into the corner.
It's one of those replays where you know he hasn't hit the wall, and then you see it on board, and you're thinking, how?
Because he couldn't slow the car down, could he? So Russell thinks that Verstappen braked so ridiculously late. I don't think he necessarily did, but he's braking from that curb on the right-hand side of your picture there. So he's not able to get the tyres in proper contact with the asphalt. So he cannot decelerate. There's straight away a lock-up from there. And then he's barreling off over the grass, turning left to go right, and the barriers. I haven't seen anyone just plough straight in there without contact before.
This is the corner we're talking about. Look how far away the barrier is. It shows you how far he went off the road.
Oh, they pinged it off, didn't they? But then you know at that point that you come back on in front and then you can sort it out to your own preference afterwards and let the stewards decide if your preference was right or wrong. Is there a bit of damage on the end plate of the Aston Martin of Fernando Alonso there?
Stewart
Slight wobble.
Yeah, Sainz and Alonso were reviewed for turn 2 of lap 1 for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. No further action, so it might explain.
Start with the big ones.
Yeah, they noted that one first, and then there was a lot to sort out afterwards.
I noted that one last, I have to say.
Lap 15 of 71.
I've only just noted it.
It's all right, we've got all bases covered. Didn't know where to look at the start of the Grand Prix. As it stands, we have a new championship leader. Lando Norris would take the lead in the points. All the talk of Max Verstappen, his incredible run, getting that 104-point gap down to just 40 at the start of the Grand Prix today. It's not been the opening laps that he was looking for. Over the curb and lucky to keep it out of the barrier on the first lap, and then trying to improve to third in the early stages of the Grand Prix. Contact with Hamilton, then racing George Russell, opening the door for Oliver Behrman, who hit the accelerator and took P4, having only finished in the top 4 once in their history as Romain Grosjean back in Austria 2018.
No further action for Hamilton for not following the race director's notes. That's to go properly wide at turn 4 and come back on safely at turn 5. But there is now an investigation for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. There's the confirmation. That seems the more obvious one for Hamilton because he was embroiled in that tight fight. He will say that Verstappen lost so much time afterwards with Russell, with Behrman, that actually he didn't really gain, just Verstappen lost in the melee. But he was then 2 seconds clear, wasn't he, by the time everyone else behind settled down. So that is now what is under investigation, and my word, it's a 10-second penalty for Lewis Hamilton.
That's in the rule book. If you leave the track and you gain an advantage, it is a 10-second penalty if you are adjudged to have done it. Increased in the last couple of years to stop drivers playing tactical games, but what was a really rough fight for a couple of corners has landed Lewis Hamilton a 10-second penalty. It gives encouragement to Oliver Behrman. A reminder for you, Haas have never scored a podium in their entire team history, to Max Verstappen further back. And normally this is the stage where Jolyon rolls his eyes at the fact I've just told you, that Haas have never scored a podium in Formula 1. But after a season of Hadjar and Hulkenberg on the rostrum,
I believe,
who knows what might happen right now with that time penalty applied. Oliver Behrman would be P3.
And in both of those races, the Hadjar, the Hulkenberg one, there has been someone to lose out in a big way. In Silverstone, he actually got the penalty, but stayed in the podium. It was Verstappen had his spin, which put Hulkenberg up into that third place. In Zandvoort, Norris's DNF elevated Hadjar, who ran for so long in fourth place, up to third. And here, Behrman is now in a net third place, and he's still driving away, bit by bit, from Verstappen.
So this was side by side. Max Verstappen going deep, running wide, and then trying to stay ahead of the Mercedes. Oliver Behrman taking advantage of that moment, and Lewis Hamilton leading the track and gaining an advantage. Got him a 10-second time penalty.
I think it would be a stretch for Hamilton to say that Verstappen forced him off. Verstappen was going in deep, didn't stay on the track himself, but so was Lewis of his own volition there.
Pembalap itu harus nge-cut corner tuh, dia di T1 tuh harus ada escape route-nya. Dia harus masuk ke escape route. Masalahnya Hamilton tadi dia nggak dia makan rumput tadi, bukan diambilnya escape route yang udah dikasih FIA.
But he has the track position with it in third position. That's what he retained by
sentuh,
going off. That's the advantage. And with that, he will now try and drive away from Ollie Behrman by another 5.5 seconds.
Lap 17 of 71, whilst we have been talking about the dramatic events in the upper reaches of this Grand Prix and an incredible performance from Oliver Behrman, who was a 4-time race winner in his rookie F2 season, and he doesn't like to talk about his final year in the campaign. It was his FP1s for the Haas team that got him promoted, and he has come on strong. He's looking for his third point-scoring finish in a row, but his third Q3 appearance in a row yesterday.
Norris is checking out, 7.5 seconds. This race is hunky-dory for him at the moment. Piastri's showing that he's got some pace today. Now putting the pressure on George Russell, who's not within DRS range of Antonelli ahead. Visor cam with Piastri, you could just hear a spike of wheel spin as he tried to get that power down a little too early, still with too much steering lock.
Dikasih dia bukannya makin bagus makin sampah deh.
Hanging in okay at this stage, no sign of degradation yet. Getting closer. Not close enough, surely. Nope.
McLaren did their Friday long run pace on the soft tyre. Attacking so much, and again another slide coming out of turn 3. We've seen that so many times for him so far this weekend.
Millering that apex curve. Williams are chuffed with that for Carlos Sainz. Qualified so well yesterday.
Carlos Sainz yesterday said it was his best qualifying lap for Williams. He wasn't even downbeat about the 5-place penalty because he said he had brilliant pace, including out-qualifying this man on merit before the penalty was applied.
That's the amazing thing. He's in a real rich vein of form at the moment, Sainz. Absolutely flying, and Williams taking the opportunity to pit early.
Piastri lining up George Russell. This is the thing. If you get different contenders in the top 6, sometimes you would instantly expect Piastri to improve up to 7th place, but this is a 2-time Grand Prix winner. Driver who can be very happy with his campaign. 8 times he stood on the podium this year. Highly rated by all in the paddock, including Mercedes, who gave him a multiple-year deal. But the McLaren is a very strong car. Lando Norris proving that out front. How close can Piastri get under braking? Not close enough to shape for the move. He stays in the wheel tracks.
Able to keep much tighter, neater lines. This is where he follows the curve. You can see the difference between Russell and Piastri. Piastri just taking a few inches more out of that apex curve, and it's given him a straighter exit. A little bit of DRS, not that extra little bit of bravery into turn 4, but Russell actually was deep trying to defend.
Now this is Carlos Sainz. Driver currently in 19th place and going deep. Sainz running in 19th, having made his stop. He put on the soft tyres, and that must have been coming out of the pit lane.
Filthy, isn't it?
Way more than we've seen in previous years. This is a track that isn't used week in, week out, but off the racing line. It's Bahrain testing, Sandy, so far this weekend.
So, Hamilton and Verstappen are under investigation once more. This is for causing a collision at turn 1. Hamilton, of course, will argue that all the fracas was caused by that moment at turn 1, and then they were trying to sort themselves out up towards turn 4. They haven't heard any radio communication for Lewis Hamilton in 3rd place. We're seeing Behrman hang right with him at 4 seconds back. It's Piastri close, but close enough into turn 1. He's poised though, any slip for Russell, and Piastri will be through. Behrman's doing a cracking job. Hamilton, as a reminder, will have to serve 10 seconds in his pit stop, which we are thinking should be coming up in the next 10 laps.
Was Pirelli told us ahead of the Grand Prix. Tell you, Lewis Hamilton has at this very moment been informed of the penalty. So Ferrari waiting a while to inform their driver, 7-time world champion, about the decision of the stewards to award him a 10-second penalty for leaving the track and gaining an advantage.
That'll drop him behind Antonelli and right with, on the last lap, Oscar Piastri, in fact. But Russell and Piastri are starting to drop away. And this isn't helping their time trial against Lewis Hamilton. The Ferrari pace is not tremendous compared to everyone around them at this stage. Not really dropping any further, the gaggle behind. Just Russell now looking in his mirrors and seeing the championship leader starting to put some pressure on.
Oscar Piastri has been in this position for a while, trying to get the power down. Plenty of sliding so far this weekend. That's also been a problem for George Russell. He said he was happy with the long run pace. He believed the first lap would decide a lot of this Grand Prix.
Hamilton 3/10 slower than Behrman on the last lap. The gap just a nudge, less than 4 seconds between them. So this isn't going to work out at all for Lewis Hamilton. In theory, has the clear track. In reality, doesn't have the pace to make the use of it.
Red Bull di pantat ya
Piastri leaning on the curb. He's got the DRS. Seems a lot happier heading to turn number 4 than he does heading to turn number 1. But there's no clear way by for the championship leader since the Saudi Grand Prix back on April the 20th. Fernando Alonso has come into the pits. A stop time of 7.1 is not going to please him one bit.
Another part of the incident noted between Hamilton and Verstappen. Go frame by frame, the stewards today. They've dealt with the turn 4
Verstappen
looking at 1 and 3.
bakal penalti juga kayaknya ya.
Overall, maybe the first part and the turn 4 separately. Here's Sainz.
He's getting past Franco Colapinto, who was very happy with the car on Friday, but both Alpine drivers were disconsolate with the performance of their machine yesterday. They were in the back.
We have 10-second penalty for the accident with Verstappen. We don't agree, but let's keep the height down.
That's such man. The grip is so small there.
Hampir semua
Grip there is so low.
We don't lose.
Russell in P7 going to the middle of the road. Piastri soaring away, being super aggressive. Can he get the power down? Coming out of turn 3 and shape for the move at the next corner. There is a DRS zone to help him get closer to the Mercedes in front, but again, he just can't get near.
No, he should have been much closer coming through that first sequence there. Got Russell to defend. Had the chance to open up the corners at 2 and 3, but Russell got great traction off turn 3. Steers clear of Piastri for another lap. Piastri's still there with Antonelli, with Verstappen. Behrman still just inch by inch moving away from Max Verstappen and towards Lewis Hamilton, and a podium position net. But remember, Verstappen's also on the different tyres. He's on the medium at this stage. He'll probably have to go longer because of that and fit the soft tyre. I don't think people will be too keen on putting the hard, that in theory it's a pretty slow tyre.
Udah mau ngambil pukulan pakai medium mungkin biar stint terakhir apa kayak soft biar bisa dia lebih agresif.
It has been a low grip kind of weekend. Just hearing how long McLaren has to wait to get on the power. Kimi Antonelli has come in to the pits. This is now a battle for 6th position.
So we'll see if Russell can close towards Verstappen at all. Was the dirty air of Antonelli a problem? Dirty air of Russell still a problem for Piastri. He's got good braking ability, but he's not quite close enough to throw one down the inside at turn 1. And then Russell is very clean. A little bit of oversteer as he got on the gas out of turn 3, but he's getting drive there. And the second DRS zone still is negated for Piastri. He cannot get close enough for that move at turn 4.
Jadi 12
Hamilton is in trouble. He's in trouble. Behrman is now 2.5 seconds away from Lewis Hamilton.
2 seconds. Amazing. What? There must have been an error for Lewis Hamilton there. It's now 1.7 seconds.
He's got an issue, has he?
Behrman's closing in. It might have been a mistake through the sweepers. You make a mistake early on and you pay all the way through that part of the racetrack. But Behrman closing in on the racetrack.
And it's all play on now between Hamilton and Verstappen in the stewards' room as well. None of the turn 1, turn 3 stuff piques the interest of the stewards too much. Hamilton wants to pit. He's falling off a cliff as he had a big lock-up, a big mistake. He's had an awful in-lap, and he's got a 10-second penalty to serve here. So this is going to drop him well out of contention.
Oliver Behrman climbs another place in the Grand Prix, up to P3 on the road. Hamilton's Ferrari crew will have to wait 10 seconds for servicing the car. Such frustration for the 7-time world champion, who shakes his head and waits for the pit stop. He was dreaming of a first Ferrari Grand Prix podium today. Instead, it's the Ferrari Academy driver in the Junior Championships, Oliver Behrman, who could be another shock. But remember, Verstappen will have the soft tyres at the end of the Grand Prix. Here's Lewis Hamilton rejoining on the racetrack. He's 4 seconds behind Alex Albon, running P14 on the road.
Geser penaltinya.
What do you want me to do? What are we doing? Staying out, Max. Yeah. So what are we on a 1-stop or a 2-stop at the moment? Right. Okay.
I can hear everything.
And so can we. A little bit of the behind the scenes there as GP checks in on the strategy to work out what's going on. And Max is like, hello, I'm hearing everything right now. All the faders are up.
Yeah, like GP is the race engineer. He is not the strategist. And it shows, actually, as a bit of insight, that the race engineer on lap 25 out of 71 has no clue what they're doing on strategy. They're having to actually ask the other members of the team on the pit wall, what are they doing? Surely it's a one-stop. Surely it's a... We'll know it's a one-stop, don't we? But Verstappen continues, and GP obviously keeping that radio on, and the dialogue just gives us an insight.
Championship leader into the pits. What was that stop time for Oscar Piastri? 3.6 is not what he needs. Oliver Bearman coming in as well, trying to cover off the Ferrari.
They don't want to struggle to cover off Lewis Hamilton. He's mired well down the field.
And the move for Kimi Antonelli behind, more important, Bearman out ahead of the Mercedes that have gone to the fresher rubber.
So that is the car that Bearman was covering off. Antonelli pulling the trigger, Mercedes trying to get the undercut there with him, and that may well put him ahead of Max Verstappen. Verstappen cannot pit at this stage because he started on the medium tyre. Well, he could, he'd go onto the hard. The soft won't make it to the end.
These former F2 teammates close on track right now. That was a lock-up at turn 4 for Oliver Bearman. Gives encouragement to Antonelli behind.
Piastri is ahead of Hamilton as well. Lewis's in-lap cost him a lot of time there. At least a couple of seconds on the in-lap, and it means that Piastri has also jumped him.
George Russell now being called in for his stop. Driver running in 4th position.
He's got to cover off Oscar Piastri. Remember, that was the race before Oscar pitted. Piastri stuck in behind Alex Albon on this lap. It's an important outlap for him.
So Russell coming in, going a lap longer. It's over to Mercedes for a high-pressure stop. Track conditions so important around here.
Telemetri yang bagus lah.
George Russell with a 2.7 second stop. Where does he come out in relation to his teammate? And Oscar Piastri, they're coming through your picture right now. Piastri trying to get past Alexander Albon, but he will get past the Williams and see a familiar sight. The Mercedes of George Russell is still ahead of the championship leader.
Russell's got to get those tyres fired up. Piastri, in fact, is a bit deep into the first corner with the DRS, probably arriving a bit quicker than he was expecting. And that will give Russell the chance to escape him up towards turn 4 once again. Antonelli up the road, of course, was already ahead of Russell.
Antonelli gets past Bortoleto. Bortoleto yet to stop.
So now we look to Verstappen, who started on that medium tyre.
Di 12
He's afraid at the moment. He's over a second away from these guys that are fitting the new mediums. It's a long old way to go still on the medium tyre. We're heading towards half distance. I think it will go the distance, but it is still a long way to go. And the tyre, there is some degradation for Verstappen. He's a second away than his best lap at the moment.
Verstappen, a 5-time winner of this Grand Prix, just trying to elongate the stint on the medium tyres before the stop that gives him the soft. And the debate about a 1-stop and a 2-stop. The temperature today is worth underlining. It's the highest it's been. Track temperature, highest it's been all weekend long at 51 degrees. Lewis Hamilton going to find his way past Alexander Albon now. Albon, who started on the hard tyres, unusual choice in the field. And he's running as long as possible. And as one Williams is passed, it's not good news for the other one. It's a 5-second time penalty for Carlos Sainz for speeding in the pit lane. A weekend that's promised so much, falling through Williams' fingers.
It's had a 5-second stop, didn't he? Caught the end of it and saw the Williams guys fist pumping, but
5 detik tuh Sainz gara-gara ngebut dia di pit anjir.
Presumably on the way into the pit lane.
Nico Hulkenberg looks set to become our second retirement of the day. It's been a weekend where a lot of reliability issues have reared their head. The podium finisher from Silverstone is out of the Grand Prix.
It's a difficult one, reliability-wise, this race. Here we go, battle for net 3rd position is rejoined. Antonelli starts to think this is a chance to strike. Up behind the slower car, the Racing Bulls of Hadjar, who hasn't stopped yet. Bearman will need to make a clean pass. Antonelli will have DRS and try and follow him through. Ocon peels into the pit, so they'll both gain another spot.
Let's see whether there's a clean, efficient move for Oliver Bearman in the Haas, trying to give the team their first Grand Prix podium today, immediately into the wheel tracks. Nice racecraft for Hadjar. Further back, George Russell gets past Bortoleto, who's yet to stop. Lando Norris leads by nearly, and now, 14 seconds.
Russell clearing away from Piastri as well. Piastri trying the undercut, didn't work. McLaren had a 3.6-second stop, cost him a crucial bit of lap time.
Antonelli with the easy pass. Hadjar on fading tyres. Antonelli on fresh mediums.
But that's another hurdle pass for Ollie Bearman. And he's now 5 seconds away from Yuki Tsunoda, who will be the next car to pass. Tsunoda must pit, Verstappen must pit, so must the top two, although they've got comfortable cushions to those behind. And then Behrman will be trying to run to the end of the race in third position with a fellow rookie and, as you say, former teammate from last year riding behind him. They will all have at some point Max Verstappen charging up later on in the Grand Prix, but Verstappen's going to lose a huge amount of time by staying out at this stage. He's a second and a half per lap slower than Piastri. He's 2 seconds pretty much slower than Russell on the last lap, so he's waiting for a soft tyre to go onto. But this is not working out for Verstappen. He's only a 0.2 per lap quicker than Tsunoda at this stage. Good job from Yuki, but the Red Bull of Verstappen not having things too easy.
Max Verstappen is set across the course of the weekend. As you see, just a little look for Russell. A pass being completed behind for Oscar Piastri. Gets past the Sauber of Gabriel Bortoleto, yet to stop in the Grand Prix. Carlos Sainz is moving up past his teammate to P12. Driver with a 5-second time penalty. This is George Russell going to the inside of Isaac Hadjar. Again, Hadjar yet to stop. Podium finisher in Zandvoort earlier this year, having a fine rookie season in Formula One. Yesterday was his 12th Q3 appearance.
It was last lap. Paused sentence to wait for Lando Norris to go 14 seconds clear of Charles Leclerc. It's now 15 and a half seconds clear. Second per lap he's doing on Leclerc.
So important to keep the lead on that opening lap. All of the teams are talking about it. Lando Norris did it from pole position. All the drama behind.
The car is jumping in the pit lane. I don't know why. Once it's jumping in the pit lane, like something's broken. Like the vibrations on the pit lane.
So it's not. It looked under control on the way in. And yeah, there's obviously a slight issue with the pit lane speed limiter for Sainz, so that's why he's gone up ahead of it, and he's getting big vibrations from the power unit as it's trying to control him at a speed, and he's probably lurching slightly too quick and then slightly slower again, and that is what's triggered the pit lane speeding.
Another position gain for Oscar Piastri, finds himself in 8th place behind Lewis Hamilton. He's getting past Gabriel Bortoleto. Hamilton, who really faded on those soft tyres at the end of the stint. We didn't see a replay of a moment off the road, but he was dropping huge chunks of time at the end of his stint on the soft. For Oscar Piastri, as we can show you right now, a change of lead in the World Championship. He's got to believe that he can hunt down those ahead. 2 Mercedes and Oliver Behrman between him and a podium that would keep him in contention. He's got to be P4 to keep the championship lead if Lando Norris wins the Grand Prix.
He's in a net P6 because he is ahead of both the Red Bull drivers once they take their mandatory pit stop. So will drop way further down. Verstappen will emerge quite close behind Piastri as things stand, but he's dropping with every lap he stays out at the moment. But he needs to stay out if he wants to put on a soft tyre. Leclerc doesn't need to stay out because he can fit a medium and go to the end. So that's what he will do on the next lap. Norris presumably will then cover him off, still absolutely soaring away. There's a league of 1 for Norris. He's a second and a half quicker than Leclerc on the last lap.
His team principal, Andrea Stella, was singing his praises on the grid circuits like this one, saying that's where we see the very best of Lando Norris's talent. The field were expecting a demonstration run out front if he kept the lead on lap 1. He has done so. 17 seconds is an enormous gap at this stage of the race. Charles Leclerc in second, still on that soft tyre. Max Verstappen is finding himself 28 seconds away from the race leader. But crucially, Verstappen is outscoring the current championship leader. Lando Norris would take the lead of the points battle if it finishes like this. Long way to go. Uncertain degradation for the tyres. Charles Leclerc got podium number 6 of the season last time out in Austin a week ago. He's currently running in P2 as he heads to the pit.
Ferrari needed sensible stop to make sure they come out ahead of Behrman, who has caught Yuki Tsunoda up now.
Nice. Lumayan lah, lumayan. 2,2.
So the way that the medium tyres are going, Verstappen and Tsunoda may well be heading towards a 1-stop, but are the rest of them having to look towards a 2-stop at this rate? or are they going to limp home on a medium tyre? Here we go with Behrman passing Tsunoda.
The question was, could Yuki Tsunoda do anything to stem the advantage of Oliver Behrman? And the answer, emphatic down to turn number 1. Behrman manages to get by very, very quickly. This, by far, his finest drive in Formula 1, used to winning races in Formula 2, a contender for the title in Formula 3, a brilliant battle that involved Isaac Hadjar, who was also in the mix that year. In the end, it went
kalau
to
misalnya
Martins,
di
who was
Banhart
unable
nggak terlalu
to
bagus di
climb
sini.
into Formula 1. Incredible scrap. This is how Behrman got another position. He's been on the front foot today. That updated Haas working brilliantly and allowing the smallest team on the grid to dream. Look how much his father's into it. David Behrman living every moment. You can't blame him. How much would this mean? Even great points. It's going to mean a lot to Haas. When you bring an update late in the season, it's got to work. It's really got to work. That's not always been the case with Haas as well. And a reminder for you, Oliver Behrman today started E8.
Stream yang like anjir. Buffering. Kampret. Biasanya like bumpernya. Aduh. Main. Bentar lah. Jadi jam 3.50.
Close behind Yuki. He'll get a chance in towards this corner, but really it's not an overtaking spot unless he's absolutely done, which he's not yet, Tsunoda. So just holding Piastri back. That gap now up to Russell is heading towards 2 seconds.
Just shows you the efficiency of the pass. We've got 2 real overtaking opportunities around this racetrack. Turn 1 and turn 4. Everything else is a real risk to your race. Piastri looks a lot happier than he did in practice and qualifying. He gets past the Red Bull. Russell and Antonelli are in close formation. Lando Norris is finally being called to the pits. Piastri holds the championship lead, but if it finishes like this, Lando Norris will claim the lead of the race with just 4 Grand Prix in 2025. We go on board for what is an amazing first stint of the race for Lando Norris. Coming to a close, and it's over to McLaren.
It's the lowest pressure pit stop of the year in many ways, but there is still a title on the line. They've got to get the wheels off, get them on. It doesn't have to be 2 seconds, but it's better than the 3.6 they gave Oscar Piastri. 2.6 for Lando Norris, and off he goes back into the lead of the race in a drive towards the checkered flag now, and he will be very happy for this to be a lonely old race out front, having dealt with the 3 other drivers side by side at the first corner. The distant shot back to Max Verstappen, who stays out, and there is no one else for company for Lando Norris in this race.
I've got more pace here.
Okay, well, you're free to overtake.
Russell saying to the team, it's quite good to swap us round, you know. And the team saying, well, go on, show us then. George Russell looking to the inside. The 2 Mercedes free to race. Lewis Hamilton getting past Yuki Tsunoda. And he's up to 8th position.
There's a podium on the line for someone in this race. Right now, it's Ollie Behrman's. Antonelli's kept Behrman in check. Behrman's not miles away from Leclerc, but Leclerc's got fresher tyres to the tune of 7 laps, which will be an advantage he'll carry to the rest of the to the checkered flag now. So Behrman in 3rd, is driving magnificently so far today. Antonelli has done a great job and has kept him there. Russell has been Mercedes' lead driver for pretty much the entire season, and he now fancies a chance at this podium. Piastri's behind Russell, and somewhere Verstappen will make a pit stop and emerge and try and charge behind all of them. But when he pits, he's going to be 10th and miles away from Lewis Hamilton.
Not again for Fernando Alonso. Is this a third consecutive retirement for the Mexico City Grand Prix for the two-time world champion? Just does not have the luck around this racetrack, and he appears to be our third retirement of the day. 3 years in a row he's failed to see the flag.
Well, stay tuned, because it is a difficult circuit for the components as well. Reliability in this thin air is very difficult. Brake cooling, power unit cooling, all very tricky.
Russell getting large in the mirrors.
Okay, George, so let's manage these front brakes for a lap or two.
We've got Ferrari and a Haas ahead. We can fight for the podium here.
I know. I do need brakes end of the race, though.
Well, that's what I was just saying. The brake cooling is tricky, and Russell is sitting in the slipstream of his teammate, so that thin air is, even less of it is getting to George Russell's brakes to cool down on the long straights. Russell's thinking, stuff the brakes, let me try and make a move here. Want another podium. He's been driving brilliantly as well himself, had the win in Singapore and has been so consistent this year. Antonelli looked like he had the pace on Russell in the first stint. George was having to soak up the pressure from Oscar Piastri behind, but on this stint, on the mediums, Russell looks much more competitive.
Taking a while to come in the medium tyres. Charles Leclerc has a massive tyre advantage over Ollie Behrman. Been on them for 4 laps, the gap is only 2.6 seconds.
I have to assume he's cruising at this stage just to make sure that they stay in for the end of the race. He's bringing them in gently. Plenty of others were able to hop on it straight away. Russell's done the fastest lap of the race. He set quite a while ago.
But whilst he's doing that, Oscar Piastri has got that gap that came up to 2 seconds, back down once again, and Piastri, on the evidence that we've seen being able to catch the Mercedes, is still a contender for this podium as well. Max Verstappen, second place right now, yet to stop. We've got a McLaren comfortably out front in the lead. Where Piastri finishes, absolutely vital to the destiny of the World Championship.
It's difficult to see how this is going to work for Verstappen. Red Bull starting on the medium tyre. They're obviously holding out for a soft. Tsunoda has dived in now for that pit stop. Surely Verstappen has to do the same. Is he waiting for a chance of a safety car?
Further back, Esteban Ocon in the Haas up against Alexander Albon. Very, very tight. Tight enough for a pass? Yes, it is. Up to 11th position for Esteban Ocon.
Yeah, nice move from Ocon. His teammate running really high in the podium places. But that was a tasty pass around the outside, having made a pit stop. Albon has not. Albon started on that slower, hard tyre, and it will go very long. Behrman in the podium places only when Verstappen makes his pit stop. But he will now see Verstappen up the road. Even if he was switched to a 2-stop, Verstappen is not going to have it easy to beat them on a 1.
I've got a McLaren at my... Want me to let past?
No, thank you.
Just checking.
Love the Saki.
Oh, and it'll make the radio highlights at the end of the year, George. Max Verstappen has made his stop. He's gone on to the soft tyre. Soft tyre was an easier tyre for everyone to run earlier in the weekend on the Friday. It's been a low grip weekend. Max Verstappen out in 8th position, but with a tyre advantage. It's been a real arresting of the Verstappen Express that has been relentless in recent weeks, but they have struggled, in the words of team principal Laura Mekis, to find the sweet spot with the balance. They've been sliding all over the road using their tyres. Lance Stroll is the next driver to get past Alex Albon on the left-hand side of your picture.
So Verstappen emerges ahead of Sainz, who's on a soft tyre.
I'm happy to give the position back to Kim if I can't overtake Behrman. We're just compromising both our races here. I want much more pace here, guys.
He'll be a barrister one day, won't he? He's got to, surely, in his later career. He'd be wasted as a team boss or anything else. He's got to go into high-level law.
Eloquently laying out the case that he should be given track position to try and get past the Haas, but Mercedes happy to let both of them race.
Yeah, giddy up for George Russell right now. Piastri senses this is an opportunity. Russell, I think, will get the DRS. He does, he opens it, but he's still going to be under pressure at turn one.
It was a tight margin. Oh, Piastri looks like he's got so much speed, building up to 200 miles per hour and beyond. Piastri does not dive to the inside. And Russell having to go aggressive, but staying ahead for the time being. Piastri got within 0.3 of a second.
Stays close on the exit of turn 3 this time as well. Russell may have to check his mirrors up to 4.
This is the battle for an unlikely podium position for Oliver Bearman, trying to hang on to it. Antonelli 1.2 seconds away. Russell trying to keep Piastri behind. They're all in the mix for the final step on the podium.
If Piastri can clear Russell, he then might have a better chance to pick off Antonelli and then Bearman. There is a podium play here for Piastri. Russell is at the moment in the DRS train, so he's within a second of the car ahead. That means he gets the DRS, the same as Piastri gets the DRS behind, and that speed is negated. You see exactly that as the rear wing pops open down towards turn 12 for George Russell. He needs Russell to drop away Oscar Piastri at the moment, and then he'll have a chance to strike. Right now, whilst Russell's getting frustrated, the fact that he is so close behind Antonelli means he's got a great chance to defend from Oscar Piastri.
Oscar Piastri comes across the line to start another lap. Lando Norris is making his way to turn number 4. It has been a contrast of a weekend between the two McLaren contenders for the title, but championships are won by turning P6 into P3. Piastri knows the task ahead of him, and what an equation we have in front of us. Oliver Bearman trying to score his first Formula 1 Grand Prix podium, to do the same thing for Haas as well. And you can see we're going to get a battle between Hamilton and Verstappen. Verstappen trying something different on the medium tyres. Antonelli going for only his second podium finish. Russell looking to break his tally for an entire Formula 1 season. It'd be his 9th if he stood there. And Piastri, if he's on the podium, will breathe the largest sigh of relief, because it has been a brutal and tough weekend when it comes to overall pace.
Verstappen, I think he's going to catch Hamilton before 7 laps at the pace he's going. He's gone 1.2 seconds quicker than Hamilton on the last lap, and Hamilton's struggling to reignite that mojo.
So rear surface temperatures are sky high. George, let's get these under control.
Marcus, I've got a car in my... Okay? The car much quicker than ours.
Cilek kenapa Russell? Baca terus di radio ya.
We can fight for a podium. I'm happy to give the position back if I don't achieve it. But my tyres are just getting sucked here.
Ngamuk Russell di radio.
We do need to get these tyres to the end of the race.
Oh, he went back for another go. Marcus Dudley, you are a braver man than I. My word, I didn't know we were going to get a reply from George Russell. So Antonelli is now told to swap positions. Good luck with that, because Oscar Piastri's right there as well. Can they do some synchronized swimming down to turn 4? They can. Is there an opportunity for Oscar Piastri? Antonelli listens to the team order. George Russell up to P4. He's the next contender to try and take it away from Bearman.
Oh, great.
Plot twist when Russell now just goes backwards and gets dropped by Bearman, having chewed up his tyres for so long behind Antonelli. It's one thing claiming it, you've then got to prove it when you get the position. And Russell was pretty adamant on the radio. Let's see if he can go up and chase that 2 seconds to Ollie Bearman ahead.
Well, he's going to have to, because if he doesn't get inside 1 second and Piastri's able to clear Antonelli, there's going to be some explaining to do. And Antonelli, will he have... Remember, this is his rookie season. Will he have the know-how out of the final corner that Russell was deploying lap after lap after lap against Piastri? You're on board with the driver in his rookie season, 3rd year of competition for the man leading the World Championship at the start of the day.
Antonelli stays within a second of Russell. There goes the rear wing, DRS activated, and he will be able to defend from Russell, from Piastri, sorry, on this occasion. It might work for Piastri if Russell can check out now from Antonelli. If he can show what he was clawing for on the radio, then Antonelli will drop away, and Piastri will have a chance to pick them off one by one if he has the pace and the tyre life himself.
Never heard George Russell like that on the radio, but have heard George Russell like that in the Junior Championships. Either way, he got his track position. Kimi Antonelli, 0.6 of a second away. And what a performance for Oliver Bearman. In a season of unlikely podium finishes, we've watched Hulkenberg stand up there, we've watched Hadjar brilliantly take P3 in Zandvoort. This is some Grand Prix, no matter how it turns out.
No, you're going early on this now. I believe it might happen, but you've gone really early with the big sell.
Let's hear Norris.
Lando, to help the other side, how much do you prefer the soft over the medium? A little bit or a lot?
I mean, it doesn't feel too bad now, but I still think the soft, honestly.
Thank you.
So is Piastri going to two-stop it from here then? Piastri going to two-stop?
He's got a lot of time to make up if he's going to. I guess the point with Bearman I'm trying to make is his best result this year is 6th after a lot happened at the end of Zandvoort. This is by far his best day in Formula One by a mile, and for a Haas to run in the podium positions for any laps is impressive, let alone to be there on lap 43.
You're right, it is very impressive. At the moment, Russell's making no inroads on him either. That 2-second gap remains a 2-second gap, over a lap and a half now of clear air for Russell, and Antonelli stays half a second from the back of George Russell. Piastri flew to the back of Antonelli. Verstappen closing in on the back of Hamilton, 9/10 per lap on the last lap, 1 second quicker than the bunch up to Ollie Bearman in third position. He's got 11 seconds still to make up, and he's got to keep that soft tyre going for a long way as well.
Last time around, Lando Norris in clear air did a 1:21.4. Last time around, Oscar Piastri 7/10 of a second away from Kimi Antonelli as he watched from the visor cam in a 1:22.3. Bearman was quicker than Russell on the last lap for your reference.
The only logic I can think of asking Norris what tyre he preferred is for what Piastri goes on for a second stop. There's 27 laps remaining. Tyres are hanging on at the moment. I mean, it did look quite ugly in the end for the Red Bulls on the medium, so maybe that's what McLaren are thinking. If it falls away, you may have to pull the trigger on a second stop.
Yeah, making use of having the time to run on a soft for long enough to get the advantage. If the others are going to fall away, they ran on the soft tyres on Friday. They ran on the medium tyres on Saturday for a slightly longer run. It's Lando Norris comfortably in the lead of the Mexico City Grand Prix, on his way to taking the championship lead as it stands. Still a long way to go. Piastri still in podium contention. This is Alexander Albon in the stadium section. Thai driver currently running in 15th position, and he was able to clear Franco Colapinto. He was able to clear him immediately. Wasn't much of a contest. He's finally got rid of the hards and put on the soft tyres.
That's the state of play for Alpine at the moment. There's never much of a contest with them out in Q1 and now at the back of the field. So if you're Max Verstappen, you're on a set of softs, 14 laps better than Lewis Hamilton's softs. If we had stayed on that shot, we'd have seen Max approaching in the background behind Lewis. And if you're Max Verstappen, you're thinking, the last guy I want to try and pass right now is the guy that's just had a 10-second penalty for fighting really hard with me and cutting a corner and gaining advantage on the last occurrence. Hamilton's going to be thinking, stuff you. I'm going to give you absolutely everything in defence at this point, because you do hold a grudge behind the visor in the race. Believe you me. And there we go, the long shot, Bearman, Russell, Antonelli, Piastri, then a gap, then Hamilton and Verstappen.
When you were 30 laps into the hard, it was comparable across cars. It's less on the flopper, just we did.
Just ask the other car. What is their balance right now? I don't understand what's going on.
We've had some spicy chat on the radio today. The latest instalment from Alex Albon, who wants a reference from Carlos Sainz.
Does the thin air do that? Is that a...
What was wild at points in the early stages.
Get the blood pressure going a little bit more. I guess the heart rate going a little bit more.
It did into turn one on lap one, where we saw 4 wide for the lead. Crucially for Lando Norris, he kept the lead of the Grand Prix, and he has done what many in the paddock thought he would do and left the field behind. Whether his teammate can make progress, that is so important, because Verstappen will be closing in on Hamilton, and then he's able to get by Piastri.
This is the chance for Piastri now, and I think he knows it, into the stadium section. Antonelli's more than a second away from Russell. It doesn't look a huge amount to slow it down through turn 13, but it is. And Piastri senses this is an opportunity, and he's very, very close coming out of turn 16, using that wider line, trying to open it up and get the power down. Antonelli won't have the DRS, so here comes Piastri.
Closing in. It looks good at this point. Can he get to the inside line? Antonelli knows he's got to go defensive. It's a big shape thrown by the Italian. He stays ahead for the moment. But did he compromise his entry into the first 3 turns? Piastri has drive off the corner. He's 0.4 of a second away.
Ih, gimana ini?
He stays ahead for the moment, but did he compromise his entry into the first 3 turns? Piastri has drive off the corner. He's 0.4 of a second away.
Oh, belum di.
Another move. Lewis Hamilton can't offer one. Up against Max Verstappen. Verstappen takes P7.
Yep, easy.
Oscar Piastri remains in P6, despite the team asking him to make the move this time or think about the 2-stop.
Right, here goes Piastri.
Again, no way by.
Antonelli's in so hot for turn 4 though, but it's very difficult to have a dive up the inside of turn 6. It comes up so quickly on the exit and he hasn't made it through once again. And now he's going to start falling to the reaches of Verstappen. He'll now be in a DRS train because he's that close to the back of Antonelli. So he's going to have DRS to defend from Max. He's got a lot of incentive to keep Max behind. He's well over that apex curve at turn 10 as well, trying to open up the corners as much as possible. Russell is now checking out in front. Antonelli's having to defend. He's going to scupper his exits. And Hamilton will be in for a second pit stop.
Right, it is a 2-stop in a season where we always say, is it going to be a 2-stop? And it's always a 1-stop. The degradation is playing a part. And in we come at the same time. At the same time, McLaren and Mercedes elect to pit their drivers, Antonelli and Piastri and Hamilton, all in on the same lap.
So this has got to be majestic from McLaren. It will look very good from the team. Where's Antonelli?
That's a Ferrari stop. What's the order? Crucially, Oscar Piastri is ahead. That is magnificent work for McLaren, and it needed to be.
But it's a 2-stop for McLaren and Oscar Piastri. So Max Verstappen on that 1-stop. Well, GP was asking, are we on a 1 or a 2? Now it seems a lot more understandable because he's on a 1 and plenty around are on that 2-stop. What does Russell do and what does Behrman do? Surely they now cover off Piastri, who's jumped up into a net. Well, 6th place still, because Verstappen will need some overtaking. And that's a lot of overtaking.
Eksperimen apa kita nggak tahu anjir. Tapi lumayan bagus emang.
From Max on 10 laps fresher tyres to go to the end of the race.
Lando Norris is out front in a race of his own. Charles Leclerc is 7 seconds ahead of Oliver Behrman, and Russell has been called to the pit lane. Russell was not able to make a dent in Oliver Behrman's advantage on the medium tyre. 2.3 seconds. It was hovering around 2. Last time around, it was quicker from Russell. So that was the aim. They're now trying to keep ahead of Piastri.
Behrman pits as well, the same lap. This has got to be tidy from Haas.
And they won't have had the pressure like this in a stop for a very, very long time. 3.2 for Mercedes, 2.3 for Haas. An extraordinary stop under pressure. They needed that one. Verstappen promoted to P3 on the road. New rubber for Behrman and Russell in a straight fight. Ocon putting pressure. If Ocon can find his way by, it'd be enormous for Haas. Ocon will go aggressive but can't get it done.
And that's Piastri now coming up quick behind these two as well. So Piastri can go and attack. Well, first of all, Esteban Ocon and then George Russell on the fresh tyres. So it is working out well for Verstappen at the moment. But now all of these guys on the 2-stop. Piastri doesn't need to tangle with an Esteban Ocon on used tyres right now.
Well, Ocon's going to defend because there's a Haas up the road to the inside. The still current championship leader does force his way by. When it came down to the traction of the tyres, he was able to get by, but Haas trying to delay Piastri's progress because he is a threat to Behrman. Ocon playing the team game, Antonelli trying to get by in an unusual part of the circuit, and he did so. That's all for track position. Fading medium tyres, 21-lap-old medium tyres for Esteban Ocon. Piastri getting by, Antonelli getting by. Behrman still with track position over all of them, but Verstappen up to P3.
So there's your tyre age. Verstappen now on 12 laps older tyres than Ollie Behrman and George Russell. 12 lap older tyres, 21 laps to go. It's a big gap that he's got over them.
Here's Lewis Hamilton trying to get past Esteban Ocon.
Kalau misalnya ini
Ocon, all
hijau,
he can do, throw the defensive shape, but he's not got the tyre grip. Hamilton is up to P8. Unbelievably competitive race, isn't it? Behind Lando Norris. You've got Charles Leclerc in a sort of no man's land. He won't mind if he's on the podium later on. Verstappen going for something different at the start. Was on the medium tyre, switched to the soft, and now we're going to see a gaggle of cars try to close up with
kayaknya dia bakal pit ya.
advantage.
Leclerc bakal pit. Dia
51
2 step
of
sama
71.
pengguna
Watching at the top left of your screen, Lando Norris, who is on course. He
harusnya
converts the
Leclerc
lead
sama
into the
Norris
win
tuh
to take the lead of the Drivers' Championship for the first time since the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. He lost it in race 5. With 5 to go, can he reclaim it?
Norris just in an absolute class of his own. Surely he won't need to stop again. 20 laps to go. Leclerc covering off, marking Verstappen at the moment. I say that Verstappen was 9/10 quicker on the last lap with a personal best. I think Verstappen's staring at third place out of nowhere in this one. The one stopper, surely it's going to work out. I mean, it has got a fair way to go still. Will those tyres survive? Will they start falling away? That's the big question. The great news for Verstappen really is that Ollie Behrman in the Haas is in 4th place. Behrman will back up Russell, Piastri, Antonelli and Hamilton, all of which really should be faster cars. They literally were yesterday and every other race this year. So that's a nice buffer that Verstappen has got to the chasing pack, having Behrman there. And on the last lap, it's only 2/10 advantage to Behrman.
So Behrman having Russell nearly closed within DRS.
This is my pace, Michael. Fine. We're staying out to the end.
Well, they're telegraphing
stay
that
out
one.
sampai akhir.
No plan A's.
Engineer
GP talking to the strategist mid-race. Maybe there is something with the altitude. All sorts going on today. George Russell, the angriest we've ever heard him on the radio in Formula One. He asked for this move so he could get past Behrman. He is much happier in this part of the Grand Prix. Behrman will be just looking for big points for Haas. Anything inside the top 6 for Haas is an excellent, excellent performance. Oliver Behrman running in the top 3 for a long time. His first laps in the top 3 in Formula One, showing today why Haas was so desperate to put him in the car.
So, Ferrari have a chance to pit Leclerc onto a set of softs. They will lose track position to Verstappen as Russell starts to become a menace in the mirrors of Behrman as well.
Instruction, they'll switch the cars at turn 1.
Might be the worst strategy I've ever.
The sass continues.
He didn't even finish the sentence. He was so disappointed in it. Fernando Alonso, Nico Hülkenberg and Liam Lawson out of the race. Oliver Behrman on for his highest finish in Formula One. P6 was very strong earlier in the year, but he did start today 18th in the World
Championship. Kalah dia sama Verstappen sama Russell, pasti bakal dibalap mereka.
If he's going to catch Verstappen, he's going to have to hope that Max falls off a cliff with his
Main
tyres.
bagus sampai pace-nya sekarang dia kita
There is
10 detik sama.
a big gap and just half a second on the last lap
Dia
advantage for
Verstappen pun
Behrman.
nggak bagus juga posisinya, dia udah.
Bigger fish to fry, right on his gearbox. George Russell sensing there's an opportunity here. On those soft tyres, he'll use everything he's got in these early laps to try and get himself some clear air, and then he can go hunting Verstappen for the final podium place.
Max Verstappen last time around did a 1:21.2. Charles Leclerc last time around did a 1:21.9. 10 seconds between them. And Medium tyre on the Ferrari for 21 laps at this stage. Thinking about the late move. Just to make himself large in the mirrors. Although we did see in Austin, sometimes George Russell does go for the late braking move.
He's got it in him. He had Behrman looking at, you can see Behrman turning to the mirrors, right-hand side, left-hand side, soaking on the pressure. And Leclerc being told there's debris on the outside of the final corner. Sainz is under investigation again for the speeding in the pit lane. That'll be the same issue that he had the first time, recurring the second time, and he'll get another penalty for that on a miserable day for him so far. Behrman certainly eyes in the mirrors right now, rather than thinking of trying to hunt down Max Verstappen up the road. Verstappen's thinking of hunting down Charles Leclerc. That may well be the closer fight in the end. Verstappen chasing Leclerc, but will he have soft tyres left to attack with at the end?
That's the question. We saw them fade dramatically on Lewis Hamilton's Ferrari earlier on.
Sainz kayaknya mobilnya ada yang rusak nih. Di pit limitnya ada 2 kali dia diinvestigasi gara-gara nggak put di pit lane.
Red Bull telling him on the radio.
Ada masalah nih di
They will catch him towards the end. It's Behrman, then Russell. McLaren coming out of the final corner was Oscar Piastri. Did he clip the debris that was there? He was very close to it around the 17th and final corner of the racetrack. You could see it. It was sizable.
I didn't notice it that time around. Should be hoping that these two start to come back towards him. Behrman 3/10 quicker than Verstappen on the last lap, so Verstappen is surely heading towards at least a third place and a podium out of this strategy. The reverse, I have to say, I didn't see this one playing out for him at the time. It was difficult to see, but the medium tyre, I think, is just not a good tyre. So it made him look a little bit lousy in the first part of the race. But now he's on the soft. He is on the preferred tyre, catching Charles Leclerc on that medium tyre. 7/10 relentlessly per lap. So that means that they carry on.
Emang Verstappen mau satu step ya.
Encouragement being given for Verstappen, who has outscored both of the McLaren drivers in recent races, getting that gap down, just 40 points away from Oscar Piastri, trying to minimize the damage and points lost. A second position for Verstappen, given how unhappy he has been with some of the balance issues of that car. A lack of grip across the course of the weekend would represent a brilliant result. McLaren knew that Lando Norris was going to thrive here, and he has a big advantage on lap 55.
It would take another 10 points out of Piastri. Of course, Norris would then become the championship leader as things stand, so the momentum would shift towards the other McLaren, and it really is in terms of pace at the moment. Piastri, he's had better race pace than he had qualifying pace. He's looked quicker than the cars ahead. We've seen him be stuck in behind the Mercedes for most of it. I mean, McLaren did a good job. We've had some slow McLaren pit stops recently, some very famous cases of slow stops from them, but when it counted and he came in at the same time as Kimi Antonelli, they delivered a good one, and Mercedes delivered one of their worst ones in a while, and that has given Piastri another 2 points in a position for the championship.
Gabriel Bortoleto about to race Isaac Hadjar. It's a sentence I've said before. They climbed the ladder together. Bortoleto having a really encouraging run. Soft tyres for 17 laps, but crucially Bortoleto started down in 16th position, chasing a return to the points. That'll be the first time that he's ever improved points after not making it to Q3 in his Formula One career. So would be forward progress, and both Sauber drivers yesterday said there was way more in the car than they were able to deliver. The drive-through penalty for Carlos Sainz for speeding in the pit lane, according to our race control
speeding from Sainz, who's obviously got an issue there.
Apa mandatory control nggak terpenuhi udah
not matching properly. It's giving him some
satu stopnya lebih gampang.
random burst of speed down the pit lane. Hadjar. Verstappen is marching towards Charles Leclerc. This is some recovery at this stage from Max.
Well, that medium tyre was no one's friend, apart from Lando Norris. Charles Leclerc will hope that he's got tyres left to attack at the end. Verstappen trying something different. Track will be at the grippiest it's been. Rub it in all the way through. The low fuel Highest grippy tyre available to them in the allocation. Piastri closing in the last couple of laps. Knows he needs to get a move on, with Verstappen putting second place under threat. And Piastri launch a late charge here. He's got the gap down from what was 2.3 seconds to 9 tenths as he continues to stare at the back of Russell's Mercedes.
Swap position sama Antonelli, ternyata nggak terkejar juga.
Australian driver who
Russell
has
bilang
no
dia pengen
podium
fight
finish in the
untuk
last
podium,
3
ternyata
Grand
nggak
Prix.
jadi.
141 points remain to be scored at the start of the day. We'll have a sprint race as well in Qatar. We'll have a sprint race in Brazil. 4 Grand Prix to go.
I have to say, there's science getting
Kalau Norris ada Sumori aja di depan.
I thought we were going to
6
have some
detik
witty
gap sih.
response, or not so witty if you're Carlos Sainz having a miserable afternoon. But no, in he comes for that drive-through penalty. Got to be served immediately on getting it, unlike the 5 second.
Iya, ini betulan nih kayaknya Verstappen bakal nge-pit lagi. Tapi rasanya
I'm surprised that
rada berat memang.
none of that pack that were
Kita lihat
provisionally
juga,
in third
tapi
place
sebenarnya
tried to stay
nggak
out
juga
for
sih.
a one stop. I
Soalnya
know medium
soft
tyres
rada
not looking
bagus di
great.
sini.
Esteban Ocon's doing it further back for a couple of points for
Medium
Hazard.
rada sampah di sini.
He's actually still lapping.
Kalau misalnya
For Esteban Ocon, a couple of tenths down on Lewis Hamilton
Verstappen
on the last tour.
berhasil podium, gigi berarti.
May well catch Leclerc, probably signals that it
Nggak
wasn't
usah
going to work out.
nggak usah ngebab
Of course, when
Leclerc.
they all jump out of the way, they give
Bisa
Max an
bertahan
easy
aja
ride
dia
to
di
go
posisi
and chase Charles Leclerc as well.
tuh.
Whereas when there's
Gila,
DRS trains
strategi Red
around,
Bull mantap cuy.
There's your man ahead of you. Gap at 21.9. Let's go. That's why we come racing.
there we go, all the incentive we need for Max. 5 laps, we're expecting him to get there. It might take a little bit longer than that. The gap's 7 seconds and he's 7 tenths per lap in it. Should we call it 10 laps?
Charles Leclerc was asked at the start of the weekend whether he thought Max Verstappen could win the World Championship. He said he'd be very surprised if he did. It is a huge amount of points he's trying to overturn. I wonder if he thought a few laps ago that he would play a part in it. And Verstappen take more points out of Piastri.
Kalau misalnya kok bisa podium 2, asa championship masih ada. Anjing berharap kali gelar kelima. Karena impossible wah gelar kelima. Ada berat gelar kelima tuh berat. Malah harus lagi bempernya nih kan.
Still charging towards Charles Leclerc. And I think the softs are where there's 12 laps to go with the rate that he's approaching. I think they're going to hang on. Has Leclerc got anything more to respond in his medium shod Ferrari? He did say a while ago that this is it in terms of pace. This is all I've got. The mediums haven't looked that quick. If the softs are hanging on, you think the mediums should hang on. But they're just not that quick a tyre. Sometimes you can get the rubber moving around, you start sliding, you start to ball it up, have a bit of graining. It can clear up as well if you get the tyre back working.
Kita nunggu lagi ya. Dari tadi merah terus.
Again, that middle line into turn 1 for George Russell. Oscar Piastri directly behind. Been patient. The only time he's really been close to contact was with Esteban Ocon. Ocon was on the hard tyres. He was coming out having made his second stop in the Grand Prix.
Hampir 1
Currently
detik.
in P6, losing the lead of the championship. If he finishes this
Sekarang
way,
kita 5 detik.
you can see
Mungkin bisa
not too far away. It's still in the balance here for Piastri. There's still an opportunity for him, but we're in to the latter stages. And remember, Verstappen is honing in on Charles Leclerc for P2.
Yeah, that podium fight's long gone. That is going to be Verstappen's and Leclerc's to duel out for second and third.
Bagus berarti.
They're
Strategi
doing a
Red Bull
tremendous
mantap.
job, but having switched to the two
Mantap
stop,
strategi Red Bull cuy.
it's
Dia nggak
all
bakal
about
fit
fourth
lagi
place
sih
now
udah
for Behrman, for Russell and for
10
Piastri.
lap lagi.
Under pressure now once again. Half a second away, dives in towards that apex. Not a big exit there. You're straight away having to
Strategi
defend
Ferrari
the throttle
kuakui.
of 14 and 15.
Gila, apa
So don't
Ferrari
use
buat
that
Red
much
Bull.
time on the tighter line.
Yang lain 2 stop.
Oliver Behrman on for his personal best in Formula One if he stays in 4th position. Piastri looks so quick at this stage. But it's the end of the straight that we're interested in, and Piastri's going for it. Trying to slow the McLaren down. Russell will throw it to the inside. But George Russell knew he was racing one of the contenders for the title, and that's a major move for Oscar Piastri to claim P5.
It's a really good move from Oscar Piastri there. Finally just decided this is it, send it down on the inside. Said ages ago he looked like he had good braking ability, he's been holding back. That time he just sent it down the inside. Russell by then couldn't really hang it on the outside. Oscar did leave him a bit of space there if he wanted it, but stopped it, neatly done, and he managed to get the exit of turn 3 as well. So 2 more points for Oscar Piastri, and there's another chance of a couple more points because it's still Ollie Bearman in the Haas now, just ahead.
Piastri has bided his time for a while, waiting for that chance. And that's the Piastri we remember from the European leg of the season. He was making decisive moves up against Verstappen, up against Norris. This time it was George Russell. He always looked good at this point. We were waiting for the late move. He made it into turn 1 and took P5.
That's a really good pass, that from Piastri. He has to be sure when he throws it down the inside of someone that's not battling for a championship that he's going to be cleanly there at the apex. He's not going to be risking having a tag of the rear end of the Mercedes, so he has to commit to that brake, and once he decides he's going for it, he does it perfectly, measures the braking, straight lines it towards the apex, tries to keep that wheel straight, not induce a front lockup.
We should invert position now.
Yep.
Yeah, we are talking about it.
Antonelli minta posisi sekarang karena ya harus dibalikkan karena Russell tadi gagal mempertahankan posisi dari Piastri dan gagal juga fight podium. Antonelli minta posisinya dibalik-balikan.
Hey, he said if he couldn't get
Balikkan
Bearman,
posisi ke TNS.
he wants the position.
An old head on young shoulders there for Antonelli. Sit, watch, get the popcorn out, and then, okay, I'll have it back, please.
So Bearman is on 1 lap fresher tyres than Oscar Piastri. There's 3 seconds between the two of them. If Bearman is able to hang on to 4th position, he finds himself changing. A big role that Bearman's playing here in the destiny of the World Championship. I'm not sure we expected it to be Oliver Bearman hanging on to P4. Piastri needs 1 place to retain the lead of the drivers' standings at the moment.
Yeah, looking at Charles Leclerc and then Max Verstappen heading into turn 1, and Verstappen 8 tenths quicker on the last lap than Leclerc, who just put a lap on Colapinto in between them, Pierre Gasly in between them.
Kejar terus Ferrari,
massive as well. He's having to sit behind Gasly. Gasly's not let him through into turn 4, so Verstappen will have to sit through the whole middle sector, I'd have thought, behind Gasly now. No, he does. He makes it through into turn 7, so that'll save Max a little bit of time from his former teammate. There we go, just ahead of the Alpine now. And he's on it once again, 4.2 seconds ahead to the Ferrari for 2nd place.
Bortoleto trying to go around the outside of Isaac Hadjar. He's made the move. Bortoleto into the top 10. He's lined that one up lap after lap. P16 on the grid. It's P10 at the moment for Gabriel Bortoleto.
From Bortoleto. Had a tidy start. He's making the most of that soft tyre as well. So Russell has given up the place to Antonelli. He pleaded for it, and he pleaded for it, and he pleaded it a bit more. And then he said, if I don't make it through, I'll give it back. And that's what he's done straight away. So 6th and 7th now for the 2 Mercedes. They will now need Piastri to go and hunt Bearman and have a bit of a logjam for 4th place to get anything more out of this. Piastri, surely he's got the pace to go and catch Bearman.
This was the swap of positions. George Russell said, give me a chance to get past the Haas. They both made their 2nd stop, passed by Piastri, and Russell gives back the place. This was what it looked like trackside. Wow, it was pretty good on board. It was pretty special trackside.
Brilliant pass from Bortoleto. Rookie v rookie. That is superb. Left enough space at the apex. Hadjar, I have to say, neat and tidy from him, not to lock a wheel and cause a shunt. 10th place now, and a point for Gabriel Bortoleto will be the reward for that.
And there's our race leader behind, watching Yuki Tsunoda go to the inside of Isaac Hadjar. Getting by, Tsunoda taking 11th position. He'll try and chase down Gabriel Bortoleto for the final point.
This is insane stint, Max. Just finish it off.
Gila.
That's why
Kejut
I
GP.
love to hear
Gila
on
kok
the
Max
radio. I
katanya
never
kencang
did
kali
hear
lo.
it on the radio, sadly.
You insane Max
But
katanya.
he is pulling this back out of thin air, Verstappen at the moment. A race that looks
Kencang
so
kali Cok. Tadi
difficult.
padahal gap
Half the
10
Grand
detik
Prix,
ya.
waited,
Gap tadi
lost
10
all the
detik dia
positions.
dari Leclerc
Red
sama
Bull
Verstappen. Emang
sat
Verstappen
there
dia pakai
thinking,
medium
we'll go for a
dan
one-stop,
apa pakai
we'll lock
soft
it
ya
in.
kan.
Leclerc and Norris
Leclerc
are doing
pun
the
udah
same. It's a
sampah
one-stop out
medium.
front, but Verstappen with that reverse, taking the hit on the medium tyre and throwing on the soft and finding the pace right now. 6/10 on the last lap quicker than Leclerc. 7 laps to go. Has he got enough to close and make the pass? There's not that many laps. 3 extra points for Verstappen would be critical to keep that championship push alive.
3.3 seconds between Verstappen and Leclerc, 2 seconds between Behrman and Piastri. Every point vital as we continue the journey to the 24th Grand Prix of the year. That is Abu Dhabi to close out the 2025 season. Still to come after this Grand Prix, now in its latter stages, we will have Brazil, Las Vegas, Qatar, and that season decider. Thinking about the move and not able to complete it. Alex Albon trying to take 12th position.
All of this just in front of race leader Lando Norris. So normally at this point you're thinking, oh, the battle for second at some point will catch this massive pack of cars, but they won't. They're 28 seconds further back. Norris did say yesterday he'll have eyes forward and see how much he can win by. I think it was tongue-in-cheek at the time, but I don't know if it was now. It has been exactly that for Lando. Out so far ahead, nearly half a lap clear of the rest of the pack. As Verstappen continues his march towards Leclerc, 4/10 quicker on the last lap. Progress just starting to halt slightly, but it's still the same trajectory. Here we go, Charles Leclerc, and there is the man still in championship hunt. Max Verstappen heading down towards turn 4.
As it stands, Ferrari are jumping past Mercedes up to reclaim second position. They lost it a couple of races ago. McLaren already constructors champions. Max Verstappen trying to more points out to Oscar Piastri. Is currently taking 5 points away.
Sekarang sih gak ada yang peduli sih sama WCC ini.
Another 3
Orang
to
lebih
8
peduli
points out of
WDC
Piastri
karena
on a
orang kan
day
ngefans sama
where
balap
Norris has
F1 ya.
disappeared.
Beda sama
But
bola.
if it's
Kalau bola
second
kan orang
Verstappen,
ngefans timnya
he's still
siapapun.
in the
Manusia
fight
di
for a
dalamnya.
5th consecutive Formula One World Championship.
Piastri half a second quicker than Behrman on the last lap. The gap less than
Max
2 seconds.
sekarang gap Max sama Leclerc itu 2,5,
Colapinto, and then
2,4.
probably Gasly before the end of the race as well. So that might allow Piastri an opportunity to make a move, depending on where they catch the back marker, as we saw with Verstappen. If you catch them in that middle sector, it is so crucial you don't follow through those S-bends, because you can lose so much time as the back markers will just concentrate on getting through there before letting the race leaders go.
Max, bisa nih kita biar championship still alive, anjay.
Less than 4/10. The advantage
2,4, 2,5 bakal terkejar terus. Ternyata soft bagus di
starting
sini.
to think the finish line is at
Medium
71 laps. Feels like an astonishingly long time when you
Medium nggak
embark on
terlalu
a Grand
bagus,
Prix here. But now we're into the closing stages, and Leclerc can start to think, maybe I can hold it on.
An action-packed race, strategy playing a huge part as well. You're seeing Charles Leclerc started on the soft, switched to the mediums. Max Verstappen took the pain early on and is putting together a stint that has been applauded by his team. It's currently good enough for third. He's 2.2 seconds behind the Ferrari, and further back, even closer still. This has enormous ramifications for the championship. Piastri is in fifth, Behrman on for his personal best finish in Formula One in fourth. 1.3 seconds. Piastri trying to haul himself into a position where he can maintain the championship lead, which at one point in Zandvoort stood at 34 points over Lando Norris.
Will he be emboldened by that pass on George Russell now as well? Once you've, it's a proof of concept. You throw it down the inside once, as late as you dare. You hope that the guy on the outside then is not going to just turn in and have some contact. And once you do it once, you think, okay, well that worked, we'll go for it again. Of course, he's got to get close enough to be able to shape for that move again at turn 1. And Behrman is having an astonishingly good drive so far this weekend. He is, as the years gone on, showing his pace. It was in bursts earlier on in the season, but now it's very consistent. And he's starting to piece weekends together. 4th position, not a podium, but still marvellous for Oliver Behrman. 5th would be good as well. But it's the 2 points that would mean more, I would say, to Oscar Piastri than to Ollie Behrman right now.
Ollie Behrman knows that the top 5 would match.
Satu lap lagi,
His
jadi
teammate was
3
able
lap
to do. Esteban Ocon in China. For Oscar Piastri, it's a maintaining of the championship lead. He can improve one position further forward. We're watching one driver's greatest day in his full rookie season and another one trying to put together a championship campaign. 4 Grand Prix remain after the end of this one. We don't know who's going to finish in second position. We don't know who's going to finish in 4th position. It's all in the balance and it all matters for one of the best prizes in sport. This is one of the best Mexico City Grand Prix we have ever seen because it's in the balance with the World Championship on the line.
Verstappen looks like he's taking a bigger chunk this time around out of Charles Leclerc. Yeah, he has 7 tenths. 1.2 seconds now the gap. It's less than that between Behrman and Piastri. 3 points Verstappen can gain if he passes Leclerc. 2 points Piastri can gain. Verstappen has driven so well to pull this one back. Difficult Friday. Hated the long run. Red Bull made changes to the car, tried to make it better. The first stint in this Grand Prix, it still looked like it wasn't better. But Max on the soft has come to life. We just heard from GP saying this is sensational, this stint. And the reward at the end of it could be 18 points in a big second place. But he has to clear that Ferrari. The laps are ticking down.
Mungkin ada driving.
Indeed.
Driving ada.
Max Verstappen at the moment 35 points behind the World Championship lead. That will go to Lando Norris if we finish like that. But we don't know. With 3 laps to go, the order in which we are going to finish. Verstappen will need a bold pass. He's nearly within DRS. The same applies to Oscar Piastri. They've been working lap after lap after lap for this. A really unusual situation in the battle for 4th. A driver having their best day in Formula 1 up against a driver who's had a horrible weekend, part of a horrible run that began in the barriers in Baku. Piastri trying to pull a rabbit out of the hat for damage limitation, and for the first time, we now find ourselves on board with Max Verstappen, who's on the brink of DRS. Can he get past the Ferrari for second position?
I don't think he's quite got it on this lap. Leclerc's blinking of the rear light there, showing that he's harvesting a little bit at the end of the straight, saving a little bit of that battery power. Here we go, the 2 Alpines are racing each other. Behrman will hate to see that. Puts them out of the way as soon as possible so he can concentrate on keeping it clean and keeping Piastri at bay.
1.1 seconds between second and third. 4 tenths of a second between 4th and 5th as one Alpine of Franco Colapinto gets out the way.
So he switched to Verstappen. You've got to have eyes everywhere from the first corner to the last lap of this Grand Prix. Norris hasn't needed to have eyes anywhere apart from just forward. He is 30 seconds clear and charging. His rivals are still playing for serious points. Max has been struggling yesterday in qualifying through those S's. The car responds horribly to the bumps in there, and he was hanging on to that once again.
Got a yellow flag out. And we're heading to it, I believe. Carlos Sainz, has he pulled off the road at the final corner?
He's in a really safe spot there. He's merged into the barrier, actually. He was camouflaged so well. But I think that will be cleared quite soon. Verstappen has a shot.
6 tenths of a second. 6 tenths of a second as we go on to the penultimate lap. In DRS, the Ferrari under pressure for Max Verstappen, who needs these points for the World Championship. And he forces the Ferrari to go defensive. He'll be heaping the pressure on. We'll watch behind as well for Behrman, but it's a battle for second place, and the crowd cannot believe what they're watching. The yellow flag continues to wave at the 16th corner of the racetrack, and Charles Leclerc hangs on penultimate tour, and no obvious move until turn 1 of the last lap.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. The yellow flag where Sainz is, you can't really overtake there anyway. So, you're right, it's all on turn 1 the next lap. Leclerc struggling for traction out of 6.
And the virtual safety car is deployed to neutralise the race. And that can be withdrawn at any moment. You've got to stay alert. It's entirely down to the race director's discretion when this gets removed, and Max Verstappen knows it.
Well, there's a big opportunity. So a few races ago, the virtual safety car came out in Zandvoort, and Charles Leclerc, on the restart of it, put in that audacious 80s-esque pass on George Russell. Can Verstappen do something similar? They've got to be on high alert, because I think Sainz's car is underneath the camera somewhere on the right-hand side now. Sainz's car, it's there. I don't know. Do we need a VSC for that?
Does it get withdrawn? Will it be withdrawn, or will we stay under it for the end of the Grand Prix? We remain under the virtual safety car with Verstappen swarming and praying for an opportunity at the first turn. The same applies to Oscar Piastri.
Well, the problem is this is the place to overtake, and Max is absolutely stuck behind under the VSC. I didn't see the marshals trying to push Sainz's car either there. I'm not sure we needed the virtual safety car for that stricken Sainz car, parked beautifully by a Spaniard who's had a miserable afternoon. But this is it. This is the last overtaking place.
It's ending. It's ending. You've got to react now. The green flag will fly at the end, and Charles Leclerc has to get through this corner. Max Verstappen did not get the opportunity into turn number 1. All the while, on the 71st and last lap, Lando Norris finds himself into the stadium section. They're fighting over second position. Lando Norris is in the final corners of the last lap. What a weekend this has been for Lando Norris, who comes across the line and wins the Mexico City Grand Prix. Lando Norris in position to retake the championship lead if it finishes like this. Charles Leclerc has second place heading into the stadium section. Verstappen was all over him under traction. It was a brilliant stint from the driver, who finds himself in third. It could have been second, but Charles Leclerc will hang on. The timing of the virtual safety car is so important. Charles Leclerc hangs on to second position. Max Verstappen will complete the podium, and Oliver Behrman will get his personal best result in Formula One of P4. And we have a new championship leader. For the first time since April the 20th, it's not Oscar Piastri. Lando Norris takes the lead of the Formula One World Championship with 4 Grand Prix to go. A magnificent win in Mexico.
P1, mate. P1.
Terima kasih, yes.
Whole weekend. Yeah, beautiful weekend. Well done, everyone. Incredible result. Wonderful car. Thanks for the hard work. Keep it up. We need to keep it up.
PSI kampret ya, kalau nggak ada PSI selesai loh di Leclerc.
From the first corner to the last, there were still double wave yellows. There were still double wave yellows where Sainz's car was stricken. I would love to know the reason for the VSC there. Obviously safety grounds. Race control must have thought it was in hittable range.
Charge button on, cool down the car. Well done. Yeah, good job. Was quite a tough one.
It may well have saved Charles Leclerc's bacon. Brilliant drive from Leclerc, brilliant recovery from Verstappen, getting back to third, hustling away for potential second place. On that VSC restart as well, Piastri was locked up at turn 4, looking at the back of Behrman, but couldn't make it through.
That's P4, P4.
Yes, come on! Good job!
Amazing, Ollie. Amazing.
Good job, undersells it.
Terakhir sudah
Oliver Behrman, driver of the day, started in 9th, finished in 4th. His personal best result in Formula One. Not the podium he was dreaming of, but absolutely outstanding drive. By far his best in F1.
Sebenarnya MPV balap kali ini itu Jerman ya. Dia start dari 9
with the
tadi.
Behrman podium
Start
under
dari
this
9.
time.
You've got one back after Hadjar and Hulkenberg.
Yeah. But what a brilliant race from him. And a star, and huge points for Haas. They'll launch themselves ahead of Sauber with that one, even though Bortoleto added 1 point to their collection.
Enggak ideal.
Haas trying to get back to 6th in the constructors.
In Zandvoort, when he had the failure of the power unit and fell 34 points behind, Lando Norris dare not dream that he recovered the lead of the championship so quickly, but he has, and he leads the standings by 1 point with 4 Grand Prix to go.
Selamat untuk Norris.
Charles Leclerc hanging on to second position.
Championship leader, tapi makin ketat ya.
And Max Verstappen finding himself with a really strong alternative strategy drive up to third place. The timing of the virtual safety car denying him a last lap lunge into turn 1.
Ferrari's search for a win this season continues, not for the lack of trying. I mean, Hamilton, I don't know if he had damage on his car after that contact with Verstappen, but he never had any mojo back in the race. Must have been some issue going on there for the driver that was running third early on. Also had that lousy in-lap, so maybe something broke, and that explains why he ended up 6 seconds and 56 seconds off the race winner in the end. Good recovery from Verstappen. Keeps it honest, keeps the championship in play on a difficult weekend for Red Bull.
He's being congratulated by Ferrari mechanics, Oliver Bearman, after being part of that academy. He made his Formula One debut with Ferrari, of course, sitting in to Carlos Sainz, but only the second top 4 finish in Haas's history. Romain Grosjean in 2018 at the Austrian Grand Prix. But that is a great result for Haas. He climbed 5 places to 4th after Hamilton and Verstappen were brawling. After Verstappen and then George Russell found themselves in close proximity, but it's the pace that he had that he'll be so pleased with. Converted it into a great result. Piastri was close at the end there, didn't have the opportunity, also denied by the virtual safety car deployment at the end. For Lando Norris,
Selamat pagi untuk semuanya.
the World
Akhiri stream
Championship.
ini.
He could not have believed that when he left the Dutch Grand Prix, pondering things on the sand dunes. It's changed quickly, and Verstappen still very much in the mix.